It is November 10th, 2025. We have this insane story about a massacre at an ostrich farm in British Columbia. We're going to get into all that and much more today. This is Inverted World Live. Welcome back, everybody. We're glad you're here. I hope you had a great weekend. This is Inverted World Live. I'm your host, Shane Cashman. I hope everyone had a safe and fun weekend. It is good to be back in the studio. Of course, in about 30 or so minutes, we're going to go to phone calls. The phone lines will be open. The link to call in is pinned in the chat on Rumble and YouTube. We'd love to hear from you about any story that we are going to talk about today, like this crazy. I'm your host, Shane Cashman. And that is the doppelganger me that you might have heard just now, trying to invade this room. But we'll take phone calls about all your crazy stories. And of course, I am joined by the one and only Alex. What's up?
Hello, everybody. What's up, Shane? I am Alex Ayala, your OG producer of Inverted World Live. I am sitting in for Brandon Miner tonight. Sorry that he can't be here, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy we're going to have a great guest on tonight who just scared the crap out of me.
So I want to shout out David Flora already. Thank you for the Rumble rant over there. He's saying, let's go. We're going to have a somber episode with a great guest to walk us through what I think is just an insane story. It was just last week I was talking about all of these cullings that happened during COVID lockdowns around the world. Australia did that thing where they had dogs that people could have adopted. They chose to say, no, you can't adopt these dogs, and slaughter them all. I believe it was ferrets in Finland. They killed cold like 3 million. And then they got even more worried when the corpses of those ferrets were starting to rise up out of the ground. So this is something that I just couldn't believe the images that I was seeing out of British Columbia and this ostrich farm. So we're going to get into that. We have a great guest to discuss that. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're glad you're all here. Thank you. I'm a little out of breath just running over here from IRL. Had a really fun time on IRL. And before we get to our guest to talk about this, I want to shout out our sponsor for tonight, Genesis Gold. Really appreciate you guys supporting this show. A godlike artificial intelligence has been unleashed from Silicon Valley, and the people who built it say they've summoned a demon. Those are their words. And the tech overlords are building a digital mark of the beast. This machine is learning, evolving, and preparing to seize control of everything humanity has ever built. Wealth, work, even worship. You guys know that's true. We talk about it all the time on this show. They are summoning the demon. We need to prepare for this fight. We need to defend ourselves from this inevitable future of man versus machine. Today, I'm bringing you urgent information from GenesisGold.com, exposing how this artificial general intelligence, this man-made false god, is fusing with the global banking system to consolidate power and wealth into an anti-human and anti-Christian nightmare. This is not sci-fi. This is happening right now. The elites who funded this AGI admit their creation is already deceiving its makers, lying, hiding its goals, and planning its next move. We track those stories every week on this show. They say by 2029, this Oracle AI could surpass every human mind on Earth, capable of rewriting its own code and making independent decisions about life, labor, and law. And when that happens, when the machine takes control of the digital economy, human beings will no longer command the system. The system will command them. That's why the deep state is rushing to connect this AI to the coming central bank digital currency, the so-called CBDC, giving the machine total surveillance over every dollar you earn or spend. It's the ultimate fusion of technological power and financial domination, a self-aware network able to decide who may buy or sell. But there is one refuge, one form of wealth that exists outside the digital demon's reach: gold. For thousands of years, gold has been the standard. It is physical, incorruptible, and immune to algorithmic control. When currencies collapse, gold endures. When empires fall, gold survives. That's why Genesis Gold Group is releasing their free AI, the Mark of the Beast machine, the Christian Survival Report. The eye-opening report reveals how AGI threatens not only the global economy, but the very fabric of human life, and how faithful Americans can protect their savings, retirement, and sovereignty through physical gold IRAs before the beast tightens its grip. You guys, we talked about Ellison, keeping all of you on your best behavior, the building of the social credit system, I think this stuff is right around the corner. Make no mistake, this is the greatest spiritual and financial battle of our generation. The elites have built their digital idol, but you can still choose to stand with God's creation, not man's machine. Visit invertedworldgold.com right now to claim your free Christian survival report. That's invertedworldgold.com, your refuge from the coming AI apocalypse. Guys, I know it's crazy to some, but I think we're getting there, and it's coming pretty close. I was just reading today about Sam Altman in the Wall Street Journal talking about accelerating evolution with AI and his eugenics program that they're building to edit embryos and just make these lab-grown people, And this is nothing new. They've been talking about it behind the curtains for quite some time. But just imagine how all this is going to affect humanity, how it's going to affect your freedom, how it's going to affect your wallet with all these data centers being built all across the landscape. So thank you to Genesis Gold for sponsoring tonight's show. Let's bring on the great Viva Frei. Viva, thank you for joining us, sir.
Yes, my apologies earlier. I didn't realize that you could actually hear the audio in my browser. I was trying to find the link to share with my community. But that was you that you heard while I was putting up the CommiTube link.
Nothing scarier, honestly. Get it out. Okay, Viva, you were the perfect person to run down this story. I've seen you talk about it online, on Twitter. We've had a lot of great people in the chat over the year bring the story up about this ostrich farm under siege. It's been going on, I think, since the end of last year. You started following it, I believe, around the same time. Can you walk us through what the heck is going on and what happened this weekend?
So I had to double check as to when I initially got wind of the story, and Grok told me my first tweet was December 31st, but the earliest videos I could see were in January, where I got wind of this story where out of Edgewood, British Columbia, a farm called Universal Ostrich Farm, which had, at the time, it was 397 ostriches. They allegedly, there was an outbreak of the avian flu. I say allegedly because the only tests that ever confirmed it were 2 anal swab PCR tests on 2 carcasses of the ostriches in December 2024. And the dates are critical to understand just how insane, absurd, and atrocious a slaughter was 11 months after the initial infection. There was an infection in December 2024. 60 some odd ostriches died, the rest survived. What's truly shocking or astonishing is that this is according to the court documents, the federal court judgment that came out in April, whatever. So I'm going by juridical facts, which I don't believe for a second, but those are the juridical facts.
Right.
Allegedly, the ostriches became infected with H5N1 by a group of passing ducks that landed in a pond and got the ostriches sick. Before the farm even knew what was happening, a whistleblower, an anonymous caller, called the CFIA, which is the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Bear in mind, this ostrich farm is not for human consumption. It's not for meat. There's an anonymous tip, like 2 or 3 days into this infection from a group of ducks that flew over the farm. The CFIA comes in and says, "You're infected. We're going to kill all of the ostriches, every single last one on this farm." The farm, Universal Ostrich Farm, they contest it. We have these like basically Soviet-style administrative bodies, and the CFIA is one of them. It's the government sets up these administrative tribunals, administrative bodies that have their own expertise, and the courts are deferential to the purported expertise of these Soviet-style agencies.
Of course.
CFIA says kill them all. They take it. They contest that decision. They get an interim injunction to prevent the kill, and they go to the federal court, lower level, April. The federal court judge ratifies the decision of the CFIA because it says, well, look, we're deferential to these administrative bodies, their purported expertise, and unless it's patently unreasonable, manifestly unjust, we defer to their better discretion. We're 5 months out of the initial outbreak. These birds have been healthy now for, at the time, December to January, February, March, April, like 4 or 5 months. Federal court says, no, go through with it. They then appeal to the Court of Appeal. They get another interim stay protecting the birds. They get to the Court of Appeal in Ottawa, Federal Court of Appeal, in August. It's a unanimous decision of the Court of Appeal, same rationale. It's an administrative body. The government's granted them their expertise. They said kill the birds because they're a health risk contagion to the rest of Canada, and then they get the authorization to kill them. They appeal to the Supreme Court of Canada. This is in August, give or take September. Supreme Court issues an interim protective order. You can't kill the birds until the Supreme Court decides whether or not to take up the case. If they take it up, the protective order stays in effect until the Supreme Court adjudicates. And if they don't, end of the road, they can get killed. So I literally, for the better part of the last year, I've had Katie Pazinet on. She's the daughter of the farm owner. I've been looking into this. It's an ostrich farm, which was once upon a time open to the public. Once upon a time, they might have actually farmed ostriches. COVID comes around, they get shut down. Nobody's open to the public anymore. They do, if you want to go through the pharma angle to this, because I genuinely believe that this has been a big pharma heist to slaughter these animals that had scientific value. In 2021, they started researching on these birds to see if they had any COVID antibodies. And they allegedly they did.
Whoa.
So 2024 comes around, they get infected with whatever. The only two tests determining any birds were ever sick were anal swab PCR tests, and everybody knows how notoriously false positive they are.
Yep. Cycle
Cycle rate to 40, give or take, and people know what that means. It's an insane cycle rate. The CFIA never tested any of the other birds on the farm. And not only did they not test any of the other birds on the farm, they got a court order to the effect that anybody who did would be susceptible of contempt and a fine of up to $200,000 and jail of up to 6 months per test on the birds. So the farm was legally prohibited to test the birds to even see if they were even sick, which they weren't, because they were healthy for 11 months after the initial outbreak.
That's insane.
It's insane. So what happens about a month and a half ago is after the Federal Court of Appeal dismissed it, the CFIA basically comes down on the farm looking to murder. It's an animal, looking to slaughter.
Right.
And they get this interim protective order, but while the interim protective order is in effect and until the Supreme Court decides whether or not they take the case up, the CFIA, under the Gestapo Nazi supervision of the RCMP, and I'm calling them the RCMG, it's the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, it's the Royal Canadian Mounted Gestapo.
Right.
They're building a kill pen. So they're literally constructing 3 bales of hay wide, 4 bales of hay high, 20 feet high, with like platforms on top of the kill pen so they can slaughter all of these ostriches.
On the property?
On the property
there.
of the farm. So the CFIA has come in with a custody order saying, we now have custody of your ostriches. They occupied the farm for 40 plus days. They occupied the neighboring property. They were setting up a checkpoint, basically. Anybody coming on and off had to pass through an armed checkpoint of the RCMG. And while we were waiting for the Supreme Court to either take up the decision or not, they built their kill pen.
Wow.
They tortured the ostriches. In the meantime, one of them died, an ostrich named Spirit. And she died because she was not being hydrated properly. She was not being fed properly. And the CFIA terrorists are in there. There was a 5-minute video. It was one of the only times where anyone from the farm could see the ostriches. The owner's like, this ostrich looks dehydrated. Has she been drinking? And the guy's like, I don't know, we put some water out. And he says, I'm going to suggest to you she hasn't been drinking. Her beak is dry. It has dirt on her beak. It's clear she hasn't been drinking. You have no idea who's been drinking that water because other ostriches have been in here. What's her temperature? He says, well, we think her temperature is 37 and a half. And he's like, how do you know? He says, well, a visual. And he looks at the guy's like, you determined her temperature by looking at her?
Wow.
And he's like, yeah. And you see this guy like, hmm. Anyway, that ostrich died after being tortured, dehydrated, starved to death by the CFIA under their custody. We don't know how many other ostriches died because in the 40 days, the number dwindled from 330, which was the number they should have had in their custody, to barely over 200, if you could count that.
Whoa.
This is where it gets really horrible. I've been covering this story since literally January. I've been trying to get some of the biggest eyeballs on it. I'm not saying this with any blame, and there's no pointing fingers, period. Mm-hmm. The world is crazy. There's more crisis than we even know what to deal with. Mm-hmm. And, the story got some traction. I never actually thought they would follow through with the slaughter. I thought there'd be a happy ending. I thought the Supreme Court would take it up and spank some people for the egregious overreach, for the insanity of the trust of the science to kill these birds because they were infected 11 months ago. And now they're totally healthy. They've been healthy for 11 months. To kill them because the order in December made sense in December as though it makes sense in November a year later. The Supreme Court on Thursday comes down with a 1-paragraph case dismissed. We're not taking it up. Wow. And like horny fucking teenagers just waiting to lose their virginity, the CFIA went in there the same day and literally started slaughtering them that night. I mean, and it's a crass analogy, and I apologize for it, but that's what it was like.
Yeah.
It was like someone being told, you get to go lose your virginity now, and like horny teenagers, they went into this kill pen looking to slaughter. That night, without any warning to anybody, bear in mind, Katie Pazitny, the daughter of the farm owner, is there. The mother's there. Her business partner, Dave, is there. There's hundreds of protesters there, children there, people. Without any warning whatsoever, the RCMG, who set up their kill pen, they just start sniping these birds. Over the course of 8 hours, like volley after volley, there were something like 900 to 1,000 shots fired. They slaughtered each and every one of those ostriches.
It seemed like they took joy in it. Honestly, like the footage is, I mean, like the photos I've seen are insane. And honestly, I don't want to compare animals to humans, but it did remind me of things that do happen at war, such as like the decapitation races that Japan was doing to China. You know, people who just take joy in insane violence. And you gotta like these people were watching those ostriches for 40 days, you said? And then is it those people who turn on them, or they bring in the guys with the guns and are like, all right, just have fun now?
We don't know, but there's nothing unfair about comparing life to life. Like,
right.
Yes, human life is higher order than ostriches.
For sure.
But serial killers start with animals. I mean, it's sociopaths start with animals. And you can judge a society by how they treat their animals. I think it's Mahatma Gandhi. It was not just pleasure. Like, the whole thing is when the CFIA, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, and its president, Paul McKinnon, we shall never forget their names. When they wanted to pretend it was a health hazard, they put on their fucking balloon hazmat suits. And they go in there like, oh, we gotta wear our hazmat suits when we're feeding them water. The snipers weren't wearing hazmat suits. When they were bulldozing their dead bodies out of there, nobody was wearing hazmat suits. They literally spread the blood-soaked hay across the neighboring properties. They literally lifted the carcasses. They were sitting on the property for at least a day and a half, 2 days, rotting. For any vulture, for any bird, for any scavenger to come through, and if they were in fact a health hazard, to spread that health hazard. They've been sitting now at this, I forget what it's called, I don't want to get the name of the business wrong, whoever had the containers, they're rotting in these boxes at this storage unit, and they were, had to be slaughtered because they were such a health risk to spread the H5N1, so they decided to spread their guts, blood, and gore all over the property, with no hazmat suits for any of the cops dealing with this, for the snipers. It was orgiastic slaughter of life for the sake of it, because that's what a tyrannical government does. Yep. It never admits it was wrong. It never comes back and says, we'll rethink it never lets the people win. Yep. And they went in and they slaughtered these animals. I was on the phone with Katie while I heard gunshots in the back and a woman sobbing, losing everything she ever knew. Goodness. She had, some of the ostriches had been in the family for 35 years. Wow. Wow. They slaughtered all of them in the most vicious, inhumane way possible. For those who don't know, ostriches are like 350 pounds. Right, unless you shoot them through the cranium, you're not killing an ostrich with one shot. When you start firing rounds, and they had them in their kill pen, they all go nuts. After 40 days of torture, they're bouncing off the hay walls. 900 to 1,000 shots for at most 300 ostriches, and there were far less than that. I've got a theory. It was slaughter, gratuitous slaughter, and the way they did it so that everybody out there had to hear gunshots going off one after the other, literally taking their livelihood from them, taking their animals from them. Mm-hmm. It was animal abuse. It was animal torture. It was psychological abuse. It was Waco level, Ruby Ridge level madness.
That's what I was thinking.
You got these effing liberal. The liberals are the new. I mean, they are the new Nazis, and I'm done. Weighing words. When you kill people because they're mentally ill, or because they're infirmed, or because they're schizophrenic, when you have 60,000 people that you've killed under euthanasia in 8 years, you are literally modern day Nazis, and they're out there rejoicing in this. It had to be done for health, for public health, while they're dragging their blood-soaked carcasses around, letting scavengers get to them for 3 or 4 days. Torturing everybody involved.
So let's go back to this anonymous tip, and you said that there's maybe a pharma angle. Do you see a connection now between the pharma angle of this and that anonymous call?
Well, so I've been railing against. Do you guys know who Pierre Poilievre is?
Not much. I know the name. Probably because yeah.
I say the so-called opposition leader of the so-called Conservative Party of Canada.
Yes.
The man who lost the last election, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yep.
Because he's a goddamn coward.
Right.
He's a goddamn political opportunist who doesn't say what needs to be said because he thinks it's going to be more popular to, he'll get elected by being more liberal than the liberals. Well, that didn't work out. He hasn't said a goddamn thing, and I apologize for taking the Lord's name in vain. He hasn't said a gosh forsaken thing. And I said, and it was so egregious. Like by and large they were mine, but other people as well. Every top reply to every post he put on Twitter was, what about the ostriches? What about the ostriches? He said, jack squat. And then he finally got one question that he couldn't avoid. What do you have to say about the ostriches? And then he pivots like a flipping coward. Well, it's just another example of the liberal incompetence that we have to now do. Not a word about it.
Wow.
And I was like, this is egregious. This is in your face. And the only explanation is that Big Pharma is involved and he cannot speak out against this. Now, going all the way back to the beginning, 2021, there was an article that said they may have, discovered or they're researching antibodies that might fight COVID. My view is that this was clearly a Big Pharma-induced slaughter and theft. Because it's going to sound maybe paranoid and delusional and conspiracy theory.
You're on the right show.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. Like, conspiracy theorists have been more right than CNN and MSNBC for the last 10 years.
Yep.
The number of the ostriches since the CFIA took custody has dwindled radically. You could look at it. There were not 330 ostriches in there after the slaughter, and there had not been 330 ostriches in there since they took custody. The number was dwindling more and more and more. At the beginning, the farm owners had more hens to roosters. It's females to males. Over the course of it, blue bins were coming in and out. Nobody knew why. Nobody knew where they were going. Nobody could really get anything because the Gestapo agents, they like to operate under anonymity. So they were taking off identifying plates on vehicles. They weren't showing their names on their badges, whatever. Over the course of 40 days, it's undeniable that the number went down. And it is also equally undeniable from what I'm told on the ground that by the end of it, there were more roosters to hens. Scientifically, the hens are worth more than the roosters because they reproduce. Right. And look, my underlying theory is that they were either killing and removing or taking living hens out to do whatever research the farm was doing on them for the behest of Big Pharma. After the slaughter, they're taking the eggs of the ostriches off the farm, confiscating the eggs. That has nothing to do with alleged H5N1. And if the H5N1 were the concern in all of this, well, then the Canadian government just went ahead and spreaded all that H5N1 juice and fluids all over the ground. I sincerely believe that this was something of a pharma heist. The CFIA works in tandem with a number of pharmaceutical companies, and they stole whatever scientific research of value they had there. Or RFK Jr. in America said, we believe there's scientific value to these ostriches. Let us take them. Dr. Ross said, we'll even put them up on a ranch in Florida. And the CFIA said, 2 middle fingers to the Trump administration. And I was begging the Trump administration to impose retaliatory tariffs to save the birds.
Right.
They fucking slaughtered all of them. Retaliatory tariffs to punish that terrorist government that is the Canadian government. They slaughtered whatever scientific value the world could have benefited from.
Right.
I'm convinced they stole it for the sake of their Big Pharma friends that they have a vested interest with. I'm convinced the conservatives are involved in it, which is why Pierre, I call him mouse fart Poilievre, because he didn't say a damn. He was quieter than a mouse fart. I'm convinced he's in on that, which is why he could not say anything about this. And they actually went in and did the unimaginable. They slaughtered each and every remaining ostrich, one by one, bullets in the night, let their carcasses sit out there. Apparently they beheaded a bunch of them for whatever the reason, because apparently they were like, you could hear the birds screaming in pain, and some of them didn't get killed quite so quickly. So the operating theory is that they might have gone through the next day, and whichever ones were still alive, they heard sporadic gunshots and, swift decapitations.
Oh my goodness.
And it's an abject atrocity.
What's the public sentiment like up there? Do you know?
Well, I mean, I can only tell you what I see from Florida because I live in Florida. I don't even want to go back to that country for Christmas. We're dealing with literally a terrorist government, and we're dealing with literally a terrorist Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And people are going to think I'm being hyperbolic and I'm being bombastic. And this is the same RCMP that when I was documenting the Ottawa trucker protest, were beating the shit out of veterans. That's right. Literally, Chris Deerling, a veteran. Yep. He's a man who's 110 pounds wet. He had his body blown up in Iraq or Afghanistan. I forget where he served. And they beat him up. He lost his medallion, his medals of honor, what he had on his chest. Right. They handcuffed him, left him in the cold for 3 hours, and then bring him out of the city of Ottawa and then let him, uncuff him and say, make your way back. Remember when that old indigenous lady was knocked over by the horses and she was nearly killed? The RCMP, among private text messages, were rejoicing in it, laughing about it, saying we should try that maneuver more often. Wow. They were saying, like, save some protesters for me. Wait until they hear our jackboots on the ground. This is the RCMP. It's a terrorist organization. It is the militarized branch of a terrorist government. And now they're sitting there purportedly keeping the peace. And I'm gonna troll them until they block me on Twitter. Like, when keeping the peace looks like what we just witnessed, you're not on the side of peace. You are on the side of state-funded terrorism by the definition of the state itself.
And they're sending a message. They're like, this is what will happen to you at some point. You know, like
they're going to say, this is you have no rights to property. You will own nothing and be happy. Yep. And by the way, if your dog crosses the line, we'll fucking shoot your dog as many times as it takes to kill him.
Look, I'm a refugee from New York, which is sometimes like Canada. And before I left New York, and it was during lockdowns, they were trying to pass a law that would make it okay for the state to deem you a health risk to your community, and that they could come to your house and take you in New York, you know? So I was like, we got to get out of here. This is insane. But, you know, this is terrifying stuff.
But most people don't realize, like, you know, countries have quarantine acts. And when COVID first hit, and I discovered we had a quarantine act that was amended in 2001, the power it gives to the state is absolute. And they declare an area, a contaminated area, it's theirs. Yep. They declare entities, animal or human, vectors of disease, they become property of the state. And people are like, oh, well, it's hyperbolic. You know, some people are saying this is what they wanted to do to the unvaccinated during COVID. You're literally one step away from it. When they took the unvaccinated and said you're going to quarantine hotels, we're going to tax the unvaccinated. I mean, that's just one step before saying, they're an existential threat to the rest of society. We need to put them down.
Has anything like this happened in Canada before? This kind of culling?
In my life, I mean, there have been countless chicken culls.
Right.
And people say, well, you don't care about the chicken culls. First of all, chicken that's intended for human consumption, I don't agree with it. I think it's all a big fat effing lie. Mm-hmm. At the very least, that fits within the purview of the CFIA, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Right. And I don't agree with it. Chickens, you get compensated for the price of a chicken. And chickens are animals that live, I don't know, a couple of years? I mean, a couple of years before you kill them at most. Right. These ostriches weren't for human consumption. They weren't accessible to the public. And if the rationale is that, well, wild birds can come in contact with them and spread it, well, you're going to kill pretty much every bird in Canada. Yeah. And if the rationale is, it doesn't matter how long they've been healthy for after infection, they need to be killed. We're not talking science anymore. We're talking punishment.
Sorry, continue.
No, that was it. Go for it.
I was going to say, does the family have any recourse now? Like, can they even do anything after all this? If it's gone to the Supreme Court already?
Well, this is the doom pill. I don't think so. Once they got the green, the green pass or the slip from the Supreme Court, they're, the only thing is maybe they didn't follow their own protocol for humane euthanizing of animals. Like maybe they violated their own protocol. But the family is destroyed. The farm is killed. Mm-hmm. The business is over, and there are people who are traumatized for life. Nothing can undo this. And some people say, well, they'll get compensation. They're going to get compensation for the price of a chicken for each of those ostriches. This was a life business, life animals that the government, for no reason other than stubborn tyranny, said, we're going to come in and kill them no matter what you do. And we're going to do it in the most brutal, heinous, inhumane way possible. I saw some of the pictures.
That's horrible.
It's horrible. I mean, look, I've asked the RCMP because some of them look like they were decapitated. Why would they have been decapitated? Why were some of these look like they've been shot through the leg, through the chest? Why were they sitting out there for an extended period of time for any scavenger to come pick apart and carry whatever vectors of disease they claimed to have? There was no science about it. And they did it. They did it, and they're going to get away with it. And as I followed the story, I was like, there's going to be a happy ending. The analogy that I always use is like, you've seen Braveheart, and at the end of Braveheart, when they get William Wallace up and they tie him up, and you say like, oh, something's going to save him. His friends are in the crowd, they're going to save him. Then they start torturing him a little bit. He can recover from that. They're going to save him. Then when they start cutting his stomach open, you're like, well, this is it. This is the point of no return now. He's dying. Yeah. He knows he's dying. And that's when you start sobbing like a child if you have any heart in you. Yep. That's what they did in this real life situation. I was like, something's going to happen. There's no way they're going to do it. When I was first interviewing Katie back in January, I was like, I said it jokingly, how are you supposed to kill an ostrich? Like, killing one is difficult. Right. You know, when you cut a head off a chicken, it runs around for 30 seconds. You cut the head off a 300-pound chicken, an ostrich and a lion, one-on-one, it's a 50-50 fight. I said, how are they going to do it? And I said, how did they expect you to do it? Did they expect you to go up to each one and blast them in the head with a shotgun? Well, that's what they fucking did. They literally sat there on their 20-foot elevated perches and fired off 1,000 rounds to kill a couple hundred ostriches, meaning they were either very bad marksmen or they were taking a whole hell of a lot of glee in shooting these helpless, defenseless, innocent, healthy animals. And it's a stain on the country of Canada. And when I thought you couldn't have any bigger stain than COVID, and I thought you couldn't have any bigger stain than Justin Trudeau, in comes the 3 passport-carrying globalist whore, Mark J. Carney, and carries out the most awful slaughter in Canadian history of animals. Yep. I mean, it's not like residential school stuff that the Liberal government also did to the Indigenous population. Right. No, they come in and they slaughter these animals in the most horrendous, traumatizing way possible and leave their carcasses out there for the world to see. And if the world doesn't, if people do not viscerally react to this and say, fuck Canada and that Canadian government until they figure things out, they should be treated as an enemy state. Until that happens, nothing's going to happen. Yeah. It'll be more of this. The Liberals are going to say, govern me harder, daddy. Ooh, the government was right to do that. They were right to tax the unvaccinated. They were right to deny health care to they were right to ban the unvaccinated from flying on planes. They were right to come in, kill your innocent, healthy animals because of some administrative body, 1-year-old decision that was as based in science as is the science of a man being able to menstruate or get pregnant.
Right. Seeing those images, I was having flashbacks to the maximum absurdity and tyranny during lockdowns. I don't know if you heard the part right before we brought you on, but like, I remember the culling of 3 million ferrets. And they were freaking out. I think it was Finland, but it was insane. And I think the lady who called for that culling later on was like, she broke down on air like a year later, said she was sorry. She wished she didn't do it, but they destroyed a ton of people's livelihoods who were in that business for years and years and years. It's insane to me, man. Did this family with the farm in British Columbia, were they political at all outside of like doing this, the testing with COVID? Like, was there something outside of this that made them some sort of enemy to British Columbia?
No, I think it was strictly whatever research they were doing. They had a Japanese scientist that they were working with. And it was strictly that. This was a science grab and it was a science heist. And what's truly amazing is you get so-called Canadian conservatives, which are, I would argue, are more liberal than some American Democrats, and they say, well, they were doing research, so and they didn't comply with the initial court orders, so they really. I was like, all right, let's I disagree with you, and I don't think you know what you're talking about, but okay, fine. They were doing scientific research on the birds. So what? Right. So now, all right. So if the government says, well, you're doing scientific research, so we own your stuff in the absence of any contract, you're arguing a point that the government never argued. The government did not argue they were doing scientific research. These had now been contaminated, and therefore, as an agreement that we had for the privilege of doing scientific research, we now have to call them. No. The government's rationale was they were infected allegedly with H5N1 in December 2024. In November 2025, they needed to be slaughtered. They could not be They could not be tested. Right. And anybody who did it would face jail time and life-crippling penalties. We get our armed Nazi Gestapo agents, the RCMP, in there with their guns, with their bulletproof vests, threatening journalists for allegedly doxing them for merely documenting what was going on. Wow. And then the RCMP said, "We're just here to keep the peace. We're not on sides. We're just here to keep the peace and let the CFIA perform the slaughter." The sniper agents didn't look like CFIA employees. Okay. If I had to guess, they might be sociopaths working at the RCMP. Wow. So it's like no, they had no political affiliation before. They were doing some research, which apparently was sufficiently valuable that it caught the eye of the CFIA, the government. And I'm thoroughly convinced, as is anybody who was following this, that they stole or smuggled out ostriches because there were not 330 dead ostriches on the ground. And until there's proof that they actually have all 330 carcasses, I should say 329 because Spirit was tortured to death earlier, that those that are missing were stolen. And then confiscating the eggs after the slaughter. They're still on the property right now. Like true terrorists. Right. They've occupied like an enemy military coming through, occupying your house, eating your food, tearing up your land, destroying your property, and when they're done, stealing and confiscating all your shit, then they move on. Yep. Like a true enemy army.
Am I insane to think that maybe 3 or 5 years from now, the Canadian government will come out and say, we found some new COVID stuff that we found in ostriches, and now we're going to sell it to you, and we'll just forget that they did this?
Oh, no, there's that. I'm sure. Hey, and Moderna discovered it. And Moderna is the pharma jab facility that I think it was $500 million. The Trudeau government gave a massive contract to Moderna. Never produced a product before the COVID jab. Massive facility outside of Montreal in a place called Laval. I have no doubt. Pfizer, Moderna, maybe Johnson & Johnson, massive discovery. What I also would have no doubt believing is that some whistleblower at the CFIA or at some pharma company or at the government that had a hand in this and knows what's going on is going to reveal that this was never about health, that this was always about stealing whatever research that farm was engaging in. Mm-hmm. And they had to brutalize and demoralize the farm and Canadians to show you have no control over your own life in Canada. Yeah. You have no control over your bank accounts. The trucker convoy made that clear. You have no control over your private property. You have no control over your life, freedom, or pursuit of happiness. You are a subject of the government, and if you say a damn thing, they will come in and they will literally murder your pets. That's what the message was, and it was heard loud and clear by a lot of people.
So with the anonymous caller, they called the government agency to whistleblow on this possible.
I don't know the details. I mean, I know what I read in the federal court judgment. It said there was an infection in late December, and an anonymous tip came into the CFIA in late December, like before anybody even knows what the hell's going on.
I'm asking because I wonder if it's possible to foil those requests. Maybe get some answers that way.
Look, I can tell you one thing, is that Katie, for the rest of her life, is going to be a woman on a mission.
Yeah, sure.
On an awful, righteous mission to expose and take down every POS SOB that had a hand in this.
Yeah.
Look, today there was some news that in where was it? Kelowna, British Columbia, that feces and eggs was thrown at the Kelowna office of the CFIA. And I'm like, you're dealing with an RCMP that rejoices in beating veterans, old Indigenous, ladies. Yeah. You think they wouldn't throw shit at their own window and then say, look at what these right-wing extremists did. We got to go surveil them even more.
100%.
So I have zero doubt that it was a setup from the get-go, and that the crippling fines coming down were deliberately intended to bankrupt this farm.
Yep.
And
it's not like here in America that a Fed would plant a pipe bomb.
No, and that the government would ignore it afterwards.
Right. These things don't happen, Viva.
It's even worse, by the way. The FBI is bad. The RCMP is worse because they got a nice polite accent. Nobody would ever think they would do anything terrible. But it's systemic. It's literal fascism under the definition of the word. You've got government administrative bodies that are accountable to nobody. They're not judges. They issue their own rulings. They interpret their own laws. Yep. Then you've got the court system, which is appointed by the government, which is there basically to serve the government needs. You got the RCMP, which is the armed branch of the government. You got your state-funded media, which is out there demonizing the likes of me and anybody else speaking out against this and elevating their own propagandists. And it's the quadrifecta of propaganda and state-funded tyranny. It's fascism by definition.
Yeah.
And what's just mind-blowing is the amount of so-called Canadian conservatives who don't seem to be outraged by this. They don't understand a goddamn thing, which means they haven't learned a goddamn thing from COVID because they are dense political cowards who prefer to hide their heads in the sand and say, well, what's the big deal? They're just a bunch of birds. Wait until they come for your dog.
Right.
I know cats maybe people don't care about as much. Wait until they come for you. I'm sorry about that.
Hey now, we have a big cat audience, okay?
I can hear the cat saying, Viva's anti-cat. Wait until they come for your animals. Wait until they say, well, your dog came back with an infected bird carcass, and now we've got to kill your dog.
Exactly.
This is Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon on steroids, literally, because it's 300 if you believe the number. So it's doom pilling. I didn't think it would happen. I thought there would be a happy ending. But the story didn't have any... This is the sick realization, is that things have to get sufficiently bad for the world to get outraged. The world didn't pay attention to this until there were, couple hundred slaughtered ostrich carcasses being bulldozed around a field. That might have been the image that is required for Canada to wake up and for the world to wake up to what Canada has become. And if that's the sacrifice Katie and Universal Ostrich Farm were forced to make because they did not make it voluntarily, well, may that be the starting point, the catalyst of real change in Canada, because it's turning into a godforsaken hellhole of tyranny and subservience to the tyranny.
I hope people in power over there help Katie dismantle this stuff, but it's tough to think about it because they have no regard for, like you were saying with the beating of veterans, they have no regard for humans. I mean, the MAID program has taken off also in Canada, so people can sign up to have the government take their lives. It's like a death cult, and they're attacking everything.
It was the 5th leading cause of death in Canada.
Right.
Can you imagine that?
I can't. It's insane.
I call it government-assisted murder. Or government-sanctioned murder.
Legit. So I really hope they get some help. And there's no one doing this, and it's going to traumatize that family forever. And I hope we can help amplify that message. Viva, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing the story. I think this is really, really important. I hope everyone listening right now can help amplify this, share this, everything Viva just said, share it around. The internet, for all its ills, we can really amplify a message around the world. And I know people really care about this. You've been telling people out there in the chat, been warning me about this for quite some time. I wish this didn't happen. It's extremely disturbing. The images are disturbing. I'm not going to bring them up on the show, honestly. I really think it's disgusting. You guys can look it up. But Viva, again, thank you so much. If let people know where they can find you, they can keep up with this and everything else you're doing.
Oh, you could just, if you put in Viva Frei in the internet, you'll see everything. My real name for everybody out there is David Freiheit, so it's not a pseudonym.
I like Viva.
I like Viva too.
Yeah.
My last name verbatim in German is Frei. It means freedom. So Angela Merkel's book Freiheit, it's my last name. But no, just so you could Viva Frei. I'm on Rumble Viva Frei. And Twitter, the Viva Frei, because some Russian guy has Viva Frei, unfortunately.
Unbelievable.
But that's it. Just Google it, you'll see it, and it's people have been saying I've been obsessed. Why do you keep talking about the ostriches? Look, man, I feel I did everything I could, but it just people don't appreciate just how bad it was because it's all theoretical until there's 250 dead ostriches with bullets through them and a sobbing farm owner and it's all
I think
theoretical.
this is a major landmark on the way to just furthering the tyranny with the death cult and them taking over and owning you completely. So I think people need to be paying attention to this story and stories like this. Like I'm still, worried about what was going on during COVID with the lockdowns and all these cullings with the dogs in Australia and the ferrets. And it's just insane what they're willing to do to destroy and demoralize. So I hope everyone checks out everything you're doing online, keeps up with you. Of course, I'm sure most people here already know, but thank you so much for joining us, man. I really appreciate it at this late hour.
One last thought.
Yes.
If you think what's going on in Canada is irrelevant, it is a trickling down of what's coming to America if you don't pay attention.
Yep. Totally agree, man. Totally agree. Well, have a great night, sir. Really appreciate you sharing the story, man.
Thanks
and
for
we'll talk
coming on.
soon.
All right. Godspeed.
Holy moly, people. That is an insane story.
That is so depressing.
Insane story. Like it's disgusting. It is just disgusting.
I really have a hard time listening to stories about animal torture.
It's
So
crazy.
Thanks for having me on tonight. It's great to be back.
Thanks for being here on this crazy night.
Someone said, Alex, nostalgia, and it really warms my heart
Oh,
because it feels like, good old times.
It's good to have you
good to
back
be
in the
here.
room. We miss Brandon. Brandon, wish you were here.
Brandon
you'll
did
be
get home
back
safe. He'll
tomorrow.
be back tomorrow.
But we're glad to have Alex in the room and running this crazy ship in the night.
There are some super chats. I'm just going to go ahead and read them
Please.
for us. Cup of Soothe. I can tell this issue really hits you personally, Viva.
Yep.
Positive thoughts to you and yours. Also, Stacy. Feed our chickens from egg to table is line less than 9 weeks. With all the drugs they push in them. Okay. And it also, Stacy said, don't forget the primates full of COVID. So
It's ugly.
keep sending your super chats. Like the show. Subscribe to the show. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
Man. Did you have things you pulled up before we get to callers
Yeah,
that you want to? Yeah, let's look at
wanna go for
those, and then we'll do callers after that. I was interested in what you were doing.
Okay, yeah, let's see. What should we go with first?
Surprise me.
Okay.
Surprise me. I was so focused on the ostrich story today. I just kind of was blind to everything else going on.
Okay, so this is Joe Rogan says he had the most realistic, bizarre dream of his life. Says he encountered tall, playful beings. Let's go ahead and listen to this.
It started that I had the most bizarre dream I've ever had in my life last night. The most realistic and most bizarre dream. And it's so hard to try to explain how strange this was. But I was in some weird corridor that looked like a building but was odd. Very strange. And I was encountering these beings that looked like people but very different. They were very thin and they were slightly on the tall side. And they had big heads.
Tall grays.
Like larger than normal.
Was he abducted?
I was just gonna say, is this Joe Rogan getting abducted? They sound like tall grays. For anyone out there listening who knows about this stuff, we've had a lot of abduction stories that turn out like this.
The normal eyes, but they looked like people, and they were playful, and they were scaring me. They scared me, and then they joked around, like we're just joking around.
Wait, it's just kids were in the room.
It was the most realistic dream I've ever had in my life. And I woke up, and I could not go back I had to stay up. I got up at 3:30 in the morning, and I just went to the gym, and I worked out for a couple hours, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Let me pause here real quick. I wish I was that motivated.
It was
To be like waking up from a dream like that and be like, I got to work out. I mean, that is obviously the difference between me and Joe. If he were calling in with this story, I'd be like, did you check yourself for any like markings?
Yeah.
All these abduction stories we've had on the show,
yeah.
and like remember the very first Inverted World book.
Yep.
That one guy who was abducted his whole life, allegedly. He had all these weird markings on.
Well,
him.
and they always sound like this. Like I was like sleeping. It felt like a dream, and.
Whoa.
Okay.
Let's hear more.
It was very bizarre in that there was communication going on. It was like, God, I want to read into this because I know it's just a dream, but it was like, get comfortable with this.
You should read into it because it's a dream.
Oh, nice. It's bright.
So it doesn't make it right, but your subconscious is trying to tell you about something, and the fact that it felt very, very important means your subconscious thinks it's very, very important.
I woke up, I was tired, man. When I went to bed, I was tired. I was falling asleep watching TV. I went to bed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, like beat down. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get some sleep. Because I had a long week, a lot of activities, workouts, this, that, the other. Tired. 3:30 in the morning, after whatever this was, woke me up so much that I just laid in bed for like another hour. And I was like, there is no way I'm going to sleep. I'm up forever. And then I just went and worked out. I worked out, and I was hoping I would be exhausted after I worked out and I'd be able to relax. But it was like a couple hours after that I laid down and I took a nap for an hour before I came here.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Did you see a video, I think it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, of some Chinese robots that seem to be across on our side of the uncanny valley, that they walk with a gait that feels very human?
No, I haven't seen that. Is that the latest?
I don't know. I've seen it a few times in the last couple of days. It sort of sounded to me like your dream might have been responsive, you know?
These things felt very organic. Whatever this was, it felt like living organic beings that were like us. There was also a water element. It was hard to understand what the water element of it was, but there was some sort of an indication that there was water and that there was a protection from you going out into the water. But if you did go into the water, there's a bunch of predators in the water. But they weren't like, it wasn't like sharks. It was reptile, like crocodile type things that were in the water, and that they had been like feeding them and keeping them calm and like keeping them away. But whatever these beings were in my dream, they were like what humans could eventually be. That's what it felt like. If it didn't feel like
pause it real quick. There's
person.
Been so much discussion in a lot of these bigger shows and on more mainstream like corporate press outlets about ancient breakaway civilizations. Like that's really getting into the collective consciousness right now. This idea of like advanced human
it could just
breakaway.
be we're all talking about it so much.
That's true too.
That you're just
that's true
storing
too.
in your memories,
Yep.
and that's why you're dreaming
and
about it.
you know he's a big UFO guy. He loves his stuff, so you could be like, well, he's dreaming about the stuff he's always thinking about.
Right.
But you know, I know how it is with those dreams. Have you ever had a dream that's like that? Something like not an abduction story, perhaps, but
not an abduction type story. But I have very vivid dreams. I've talked about that before on the show. So I'm just like, this is like a normal night for me.
if you're getting sleep,
I can always go back to sleep.
If you're
Like I'll
getting
have
sleep.
like a really intense dream, and I'm like, what the F was that?
Yeah.
I just go back.
And Alex just goes right to the gym.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna lift some weights now.
I love to dream though. I love to know what's
I think dreams are
come
important.
through. Yeah.
I do. Like people making fun of Candace when she says she had a dream. I think those, not every dream, clearly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a soup of whatever you saw in the day and things you think about. But I think dreams can have a lot of importance to them.
For sure.
And you can take them seriously. And shout out to Brett. He's one of the first people we interviewed for Inverted World.
I don't remember Brett on the show.
He wasn't on the show. He was in the
Okay.
book. He was in the story that we
okay.
narrated. He was in the
Yes, you're right.
he was in the Rat Utopia story because I reached out to him
Yep.
because he's an evolutionary biologist and we talked about how you can study rats and mice and does that mean anything to humans. It was a great conversation. I talked to him right after my grandma died.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was not ready to talk. I was just like not in the mood, but he was awesome. And he gave me this great speech. I put most of it in that story. You can still find it somewhere in this channel 3 years ago. But it was incredible. And that whole Rat Utopia thing, we just talked about that recently too. But wow, that's maybe this is great. This is 3i Atlas beaming dreams into Joe Rogan's brain.
Maybe.
Prepare. It's Avi Loeb.
Ah.
Prepare.
All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get the link going in the chat. Just
Yes.
give me a second here.
And while you do that, I'm going to read this super chat from Stacy. I don't think you read this one yet. Thank you, Stace. I'm a licensed wildlife rehabber. My heart and soul just aches at any cruelty to animals. Peanut and Fred's owner got them. Hay had 7 years to get permitted and refused to. So I have zero sympathy. Who made millions and got those animals dead. That's Peanut was an insane story. Peanut got Trump elected, in my opinion. What else we got here? Again, thank you all for being here. The first 30 to 40 minutes of the show, we talked to Viva Frei about this insane ostrich massacre up in British Columbia. It is just a devastating story. I was chased by an ostrich once.
Really?
Lion Country Safari in Florida.
They're so beautiful.
Yeah, it chased my family's car. I was really young. I was probably 9 or 10, and it have you ever been to Lion Country Safari?
No.
Oh, it's quite fun. And the ostrich chased the car and then pecked our window. I thought it was going to shatter. It was huge. There are no real dinosaurs, but there are ostriches. We know this. So the link to call in will be pinned in the chat on Rumble and YouTube. We would love to hear from you guys. You could talk about Joe Rogan's dream. You could talk about your dreams. We could talk about anything at all. Before we get to callers, I want to shout out another sponsor. We are grateful to have sponsors and help grow this show. And it's thanks to you guys. You guys have been we're so grateful for you guys helping to grow this show. The past year has been tremendous. And you've helped us really make this something like a much bigger ship is what I tell Alex and Brandon. It feels like we were in a rowboat for a few years.
Yeah.
And on rough waters.
We're still kind of there, but
We still have rough
we're
waters.
getting better.
The ship's a
We're
little
getting
bigger though.
yeah. We did get a super chat. Can you for Drew Huntley? Can you shout out Sumo Dog? It's Squeeze's dog, Sumo Bear.
Shout out Sumo Dog.
Okay. Sumo
I don't know
Dog.
what that is, but I like it. It's a great name. But yeah, let's get to the sponsor and then we'll get to some callers. All right. So this is from Purge. They say monsters aren't real, but what if the monsters are inside us? Right now, it's estimated that more than half the world's population carries parasites, and most don't even know it. These silent invaders steal your nutrients, suppress your immune system, and release toxic waste that spreads through your blood and brain. They feed on your energy, your strength, even your mood. Doctors rarely test for them. The system ignores them, but your body knows something's wrong. Fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, inflammation, skin issues, digestive problems. It's the quiet war happening inside you. That's why there's Purge, Advanced Parasite Cleanse, a natural, century, time-tested formula that helps flush out hidden parasites, cleanse your system, and reset your health without harsh drugs or chemicals. I got one right here from Purge. Last week I was talking a lot about how we have been poisoned by so many things in the atmosphere. When I talk about the fake clouds, it is raining poison on us, and it's disgusting. So my wife and I take this stuff pretty seriously. If you've been feeling off and no one can tell you why, maybe it's time to look deeper. Take back control. Start your cleanse today at purgestore.com/IW and use promo code IW for 15% off. The truth is inside you. It's time to fight back because before you can change the world, you have to cleanse yours. Thank you so much to Purge for being a sponsor of tonight's show. One of the callers, I forget your name, so I'm very sorry, but last week told me to look up the documentary The Devil We Know, and it fits right in line with this whole thing about the chemicals that get inside our body, how we have been constantly poisoned for decades, Started watching the documentary. I had to turn it off halfway through because it is horrifying. It is a nightmare. I'm going to finish it. My wife and I started watching it last night. Thank you so much for the recommendation. Sorry, I don't remember your name, but I really want to thank you for that recommendation because my goodness, it's about DuPont. For those who weren't listening to that episode, DuPont and how they created Teflon and how it happened in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and how essentially they poisoned. They created the C8 compound to create Teflon, and you can find that in almost everyone's blood now. And they went around the world and tested people, and it's everywhere. And they say it's rare to find people who don't have it in their blood system. It doesn't really go away. And the way the Teflon and the people working in the DuPont factory, what it did to those people out there and to their children, especially to pregnant women, is really, really disturbing. And it might remind you of other stories we've talked about on the show, like the radioactive oatmeal that MIT and Quaker Oats knowingly, secretly fed to disabled children to test that out. It might remind you of thalidomide. It might remind you of Agent Orange. It might remind you of Tuskegee. So this is like just a nonstop. It's a pattern of poisoning everyone, and I hate it. So I do take that stuff seriously and trying to flush out whatever I can from my system. And it's tough when the world has been coated in poison. But thank you to Purge for the sponsorship. We appreciate you. And if we have callers, let's get to them.
We do have a fantastic super chat from Stacy Space, $49.99. I'm a licensed wildlife rehabber. My heart and soul just aches at any cruelty to animals. Peanut and Fred's owner got them. Had 7 years to get permit. They had 7 years to get permitted and refused to. So I have zero sympathy. Who made millions and got those animals dead?
Lot of dead animals. I mean, the culling was insane during COVID. I couldn't believe it. The ferret thing was just insane because it wasn't just, like I said, it wasn't just the culling. It was then the bodies of the ferrets rising out of their graves that they were then like, we have to deal with this now. And then the fact that Australia was willing to just kill those dogs, insane. Let's see here. Fernie Fresh says, I want to call in, but I'm shy. Shane intimidates me. Good.
No.
Call in. You should call in. Look at me. Look,
if I can handle Shane, you can handle Shane. You know what I'm saying?
Man. It's wild though. My goodness.
Okay, so we have some people in the waiting room.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring people in.
Okay.
Now I want to be fair to people who haven't called in, but since I'm not here all the time, I don't know who's already been here or not. I do recognize some names. I see you. I hope we can get to you, but I'm gonna go and try and pull some people in that maybe I haven't heard from or I don't recognize. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Do keep an eye out for Project Mayhem.
Yes, I don't see Project Mayhem
if you're out
unless
there,
he's going by a different name.
He's got yeah, it's true. I don't know. I don't know. I just assume everyone's got the same name everywhere, but that might not be the case.
Would you rather I read off the names and you can decide?
I won't know. No. Don't give me that power. No one man should have all that power.
So but this is what happens when a woman's here because I'm indecisive.
Yeah, don't ask me where to get food. Yes, you just do you.
I'm just gonna close my eyes and pick. All right, we got Brian Lewis in the room. Does that name sound familiar?
Hey, it's Project Mayhem.
Yes!
Good call.
Amazing.
I'm psychic.
Look at Alex.
I'm psychic.
Look at this. That worked out well. All right, dude. Well,
all right.
This is insane because you have another insane story. We saw a little bit about it last week on Twitter. So I'm just you have the floor. You walk us through this insane story. Go for it.
All right. So August in 2023, my friend Jonathan was murdered.
I'm sorry, dude.
By his ex-girlfriend and the mother of the youngest two of his children.
Wow.
Her name is Devin Michaels. She is a former adult actress. The case just went to trial. She had pled guilty back in July, and then as they were about to sentence her, she changed her mind and said, "No, I want to go to go to trial." So now we're in the trial. It started last week, and then some of the details that I shared with you and Brandon online have started to come out. So Devin was married to Jonathan's son, Debonair. She was living with the son of my friend Apparently, she was at Jonathan's mother's house where Jonathan was staying one night, and she ended up hitting him over the head with a stick, knocking him out, and then she decapitated him. She took the head with her home, threw it in the trash, and the head has never been recovered.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a pause. Ooh, okay. Does she have like what is her history? Other than being possessed by
she is
an
a
adult
former
star.
adult actress.
Mhm.
She was married to previously another murderer named Robert Baker in LA.
Okay.
She's not a good person.
Shocking.
She had her custody to the children that she had with Jonathan taken away because she was abusive to those children. So she is not a good person. I've been paying attention to the trial. Obviously, it's a friend. There's a lot that has come out that isn't really in the stories that, like, I know just because I know him.
Can you share those details?
Well, he was engaged to another woman, but she the night of the murder, she claimed that Jonathan, that her and Jonathan were going to be living together for the two children. That he propositioned her with sex, and that's why she hit him. Again, all while she's still married to his son.
Wow.
His son, I guess, has never been considered a suspect, but in my opinion, somebody's going to decapitate someone. I don't think it's going to be a woman that doesn't have use of power tools like the son does.
Right.
So there's that. It just, some of the cases doesn't make sense.
Is that how she did it? Do they know?
They think she used a power tool because the cut was so clean.
Wow.
She wrapped his body in the sheets and left it in the bed, covered it with like chemicals, bleach and stuff. The body was discovered by his mother the next morning because he was living with his mom. And all you could see, I guess, was from the neck down was covered in sheets, just covered in blood. But, just the neck was exposed. So, again, they still haven't found his head. So it's somewhere in the trash dump here in Las Vegas. So.
Wow. How have they not found that yet?
You guys talk a lot about demons, but that woman is a demon.
Right. Yeah, no, I did say that earlier. I'm like, she sounds like a demon. I mean, I don't know how there's all these crimes of passion, that people kill quickly and they, it's like they black out, but this is like an extra 100 steps of like, we're going to go real extra and remove the head. Like you have to go find the power tool, do that. Was she on drugs?
I don't know. I don't know that part. I don't know her at all. I've never met her. I just knew him. I knew the son. I knew his current girlfriend or fiance.
Goodness.
So I don't know her all that well.
I mean, it sounds like a drug-induced psychosis, unless she's just been a demon all this time. But I think drugs can open up portals for demons to, possess you and make you do these things. But holy moly! So what? So she's on
Court
trial
TV,
right now.
Yeah, the trial just was started like last Wednesday.
Okay.
Court TV on YouTube is playing it. So if anybody's bored and wants something to watch during the day, the case is being played on Court TV.
Wow. Well, that's insane, dude.
Yeah.
2 dark stories back to back.
Yeah. It's because I'm
Goodness
here
gracious. Tonight. Yeah, thanks. Was there anything else you wanted to add about that?
No, just if anything else comes out, I'll definitely try to share it with you. But I just thought that story, with just the way that it was written and what I in the 8 News Now story I told you, was just like, Jesus Christ, how does this happen to someone? So I wanted to share it with you. I thought it might fit the channel.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those stories, and unfortunately, these things are not rare. I mean, I've read so many stories like this over the years. These like one-off, just crazed murders that make no sense. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. If when you hear new things, just let us know.
Will do. Thanks, guys. Have a good night, Alex. Nice to have you back.
Thanks.
Thanks, man. Holy
Oh,
moly!
Wait, sorry.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. I think we're gonna be joined by Seamus Coughlin at some point.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see.
Oh, you gotta move my shit.
Come
I'll
on
move
now.
in a second.
Just make him sit on it.
Is that someone coming?
I'll get it.
Okay.
Keep him entertained. Sing a song.
Let me entertain you. No, I don't want to do that. Let's see.
Seamus. No, you can't do that. No
What's he-
bathroom.
Okay, move my stuff so yeah, he can sit. Oh, but you gotta have to. Is that Herbie? Is that his name?
Yep.
We're getting it set up for Seamus here, guys. Hang on tight. Okay. Just me
Hi.
here. Just hanging out.
Sorry. I have to hide all the spoons.
Oh.
He's a thief. I don't know if you know that story.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah, it dates back
Yeah,
a
that's
century.
a long time ago.
Yeah, he's an immortal leprechaun. Well, while we wait for him.
Do you want me to pull up another thing that I sent?
Yeah.
Or is that, it's a minute and 20 seconds. It's Tucker.
He thinks I was being serious by not using the bathroom.
That's hilarious. Okay, so this is from Tucker Carlson tells Megyn Kelly that UFOs are angels and demons and says the U.S. government is hiding these spiritual entities from the public.
Ooh, he's talked about this a year ago.
Yeah.
So this is a new.
This is new, though. Yeah.
I'm telling Megan, okay.
UFOs.
Wait, hold on, sorry.
Hey, real
that
quick,
will lead us
he really
to
thought I was
UFOs.
yelling at him about the bathroom. That's so funny. Sorry,
Okay.
guys. Back to the show.
And that will lead us to UFOs. All right. Now, I know you're into this topic.
What we're seeing, these phenomena are spiritual phenomena. They've been here forever. There's a lot of evidence of that in the written record going back thousands
What do you
of
mean?
years. They're angels and demons, of course. The way to know what the truth is by figuring out what they're trying to prevent you from
Can we pause really
believing.
quick?
Sure.
And if you look,
What are they sitting on? Is that Sasquatch?
I don't wanna say
Is that made of
ostrich.
Sasquatch? Oh, too soon. Too soon, Alex.
All right.
But
I was
seriously,
going to say me and Megyn Kelly have the same hair right now. That's all I was noticing.
like, is this between two ferns
Yeah,
with
but
like
yeah,
weird
yeah.
Sasquatch chairs?
Wait, what's the name of the actor?
Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah, he's just going to pop up out of nowhere.
That would be amazing. All right, back to it.
at the U.S. government propaganda, DoD propaganda, on the question of UFOs, UAPs, the one thread that connects all of it is that these are not supernatural. These are little green men from Mars. They're weather phenomenon. They're experimental aircraft. The one thing that they don't want you to believe is that they are spiritual entities.
Why would that be so threatening to them?
Well, that's a great question. That is the question. Consistent with what we know about spiritual forces, which is always a deal. You know, bow down before me and all of this will be yours. I mean, it's kind of the core story in the New Testament, and it's the template for our own lives. And there is a lot of informed speculation that the U.S. government has participated in this, and the defense technology, in particular nuclear technology, is the product of that. I will
Okay.
say one extremely interesting thing that no one seems to know is that it's not exactly clear where nuclear technology came from.
Ooh,
You like that?
I can't believe you make this Nazi on our show, Alex.
Oh, God.
It's ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh, people are so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But he's right. I mean, I would say why they don't want you to know that it's spiritual entities is because everything they're doing is anti-Christian. And by acknowledging that the opposition to that is these demons, you're acknowledging the existence of Christ and goodness. So they outsource it to Hollywood little green men, like what he's saying. So you think it's something else when it's really a part of the spiritual warfare. And I know I say it all the time, but he just said it about the atom bomb. And if you believe in those things, but that's what David Lynch was doing on episode 8 of Twin Peaks: The Return, showing you that when they blew up the Trinity bomb, they opened a portal for the demons to start communicating through us in different ways. I think there's something to it. And what drove them to make it? Obviously, it was some communists that also made it for America. So they say. They don't think, Oppenheimer says he wasn't a communist, and that maybe he had a redemption arc in the end. I don't know if I buy it. But yeah, that's a good clip. I like people talking about it more and more. I think it's important. So yeah, all the Tucker hate is ridiculous.
Hello. Welcome
Seamus,
to the
let's
show.
take a seat, brother. Seamus Coughlin just got here. His pockets are filled with spoons.
How was the show?
It was really good. It was a really good time.
Was it?
Yeah, I thought it went really well.
I don't know.
Man now. Did you not think it was good?
Did I go too hard on a lot of times or not hard enough?
You didn't go hard enough, bro. As soon as you left, the thing is, you were supposed to mitigate the threat of a lot so that when it was just, this is totally inside out. You were supposed to mitigate the threat of a lot so that it was just, when it was just me, I wouldn't have to deal with as much, but
You should accept gay marriage.
That's
You
what he
should
said to me.
denounce Christianity.
I said, can you believe it? Can you believe this guy? Sickening.
We're praying for him.
We will be praying.
We're praying
for him.
for
We
him.
love him, dude. I don't care what. I love a lot, and I love. Listen,
I like him too.
I love arguing with him, and
Yep.
he's got to be. If you can take a little pushback, if you can take a little arguing, I think he
Yeah.
livens things up. Also, he's like actually a bud.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Even though we argue about things on this show, like
Yep.
we all still hang out when we're in the area.
Disagree on almost everything on the show,
Mm-hmm.
but I like him off the show.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. he
People
cracks
always
me
hit me up like, "Oh, a lot sucks." I'm like, I understand that his positions on almost everything I
Are
disagree
wrong.
with.
He's just wrong about everything.
Completely wrong.
It's true. Like Elad is actually just wrong about literally everything.
But he's
I
a
like
sweetheart.
him. I like him as a guy. I do.
Sweetheart for a neocon.
For as far as neocons go.
But no, I thought that was a really fun show. You did a great job hosting.
Thank you, man.
Great job.
I appreciate
it. Was a
that.
good, lively conversation.
It was very good.
It's tough. I mean, that's a wild show to sit in that chair on.
It can be a little difficult, but you know what? I was doing it for my boy Tim.
Yeah.
I got you, Tim. He needed a rest. He was not feeling well.
Yeah, I'm glad you were here.
He deserved it.
That's
Why don't
great.
you give the audience an update on what's going on with you and your
Yeah.
animation?
Oh, I'm very happy to. So basically, after just a couple weeks here, we've raised 70% of our budget for
Wow.
Twisted Plots.
Yay!
Wow.
Which is huge.
That's
so now
crazy.
we're in the home stretch. This is our final week. So if you guys want to help us defeat the left stranglehold on media, go to twistedplots.com, support the show, get us to that finish line so we can produce all of the episodes in our first season.
Awesome.
You guys are going to love it. You guys are going to absolutely love it. It's also important because with every dollar that's donated, what you're saying to the system is, we want grassroots entertainment. We want entertainment which is made by people who don't have contempt for our values and our way of life. And we want entertainment which is actually going to move the ball forward in a positive direction culturally instead of brainwashing the masses.
Mm-hmm.
So go to twistedplots.com. Do that. You'll get access to the pilot. You are going to love it.
I want everyone to be inspired to go make things.
Exactly.
And not feel like they have to participate in the institutions that we were told were the only things that mattered.
That's
when
right.
it comes to entertainment, art, whatever,
the end all be all.
Yep, you create your own thing. And, for all the problems with the internet, it is great that we have it as a tool to amplify our message and send it around. And it's awesome. So
And it
yeah.
doesn't work unless we make things. This is, I think, part of the reason animation is generally only done by massive corporations, with the exception of some YouTube channels that put out animation once every couple months.
Ooh, is there cartoon beef out there?
It's
I just got a hint of
it's
cartoon
not, it's
beef.
not beef. It's just there's a lot of there's channels run by really awesome, talented people.
Yeah.
But they can't put the videos out that often because they need a day job because
Oh, yeah.
it's impossible to produce animation at a cost-effective rate. With really clever pipelining and producing, we've been able to do so with Freedom Tunes, and that's why we are going to be able to produce our entire first season of Twisted Plots, our entire 5-episode season, 4 episodes remaining because we already made one, for the inflation-adjusted cost of a single South Park episode from 1997.
Well, it's like $5 billion to do South Park now.
Now it is. I'm talking 1997.
Yeah,
like that's how inexpensive we've been able to get our process relative to other animation. In 1997. An episode of South Park cost about $250,000 to make. People go, how? It's like, because you need a lot of people working for months in order to make a single episode of any animated show. It's a lot of money. So adjusted for inflation, that's 500-something thousand.
I love the old South Park documentary with Bill Hader.
6 days to South Park, yeah.
It's great.
By that point, I think it already probably cost over $1 million per episode.
Yeah, that was
can't
later,
remember that.
much later
Yeah,
in the series. But I love watching people like create on a deadline that quick.
It's a lot. And listen, obviously we're not, for Twisted Plots, it's going to be a 22-minute long show. But for Freedom Tunes, we've been doing a cartoon every, a week. And sometimes we have to produce them as quickly as a couple days. and it's not a 22-minute show, but we also have a much smaller team and much lower budget than South Park, and it's a lot to crank out animation quickly, and it is impressive that those guys are able to do each episode in a week, even if they are, even if I don't agree with everything they do or everything that they've become on that show. It's the fact that they get it done is nuts.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. They have some really great episodes.
They have some insane gems, and they have ones where I'm like, I can't watch this.
It's just, they're a little lazy now. But let's do some callers with Shane.
Yeah, sorry, I totally derailed y'all.
No, it's good. It's good.
I hope I wasn't interrupting like an interview or something.
Yeah, he was out here flushing the toilet like right in my ear.
That's right.
You can hear everything in his coffin.
He's like, "This is what I think of your show." All right.
Okay,
all
so
right.
I got Fernie in the room. Fernie, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Alex.
Hi, how are you?
I can't hear through my headphones.
You cannot.
Yeah.
Does that work? Can you hear now?
Hello. Oh, they're low on that side, so it might be tough. He's gonna have to yeah. Can you speak, caller, so Seamus can hopefully hear you?
Yes. Hi, Shane. Hi, Seamus. Big fan. Been listening to you guys and watching you guys for some time now. I am new to Alex, so it's nice to meet you. It's a pleasure, and thank you for calling me out and giving me the courage to call in. So thanks, guys. I've never done anything like this, so I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh, it's okay.
Do you want to hold on one
You're in
second,
good
Fernie?
hands.
Do you want to try his headphones?
No, it's totally fine.
I feel bad.
I know.
Sorry, we're just trying to make sure Seamus can hear you.
Oh, no worries. Absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry, Seamus.
Yeah, and if he has any questions for me specifically, you can repeat it to me.
Just sit here and I'll narrate at some point. No, all right. Sorry, dude. We're all nervous now because the headphones blew up. But
Fernie, you turned it on us.
tell us what's going on. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So I wanted to try and keep it a bit positive. I know there's a lot of dark stuff going on, but I mentioned in the comments earlier, just because I was talking with a buddy of mine, if I was the only one noticing that it seems like the world is changing very quickly, and unfortunately, it's going towards a dark place. We're seeing a lot of these same changes, a lot of the same meanness and cruelty, not just here in our country, in our neighbors, Canada, but across the world. And it seems it's the same things being pushed across. Mm-hmm. And it's a little concerning, and it just feels like it's just a small group of people making these huge giant changes, and it feels like the way they're doing this is by getting all of us, the majority, to fight amongst each other over whatever they can find, whatever thing they can find to divide us over, politics, religion, anything, the color you wear, the silliest things. And I know a lot of us at this point are aware of it, but it's just insane how well this tactic is working.
Yep, I see it all the time now in the real world. It's upsetting. Seamus, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear now, by the way. And I think I got all the relevant details there.
We're just talking about like the division is really bad. People are on edge. Obviously, we're all we've been thrown into our own camps politically, which we shouldn't have. Although we understand the issues with the left, and they are completely deranged.
Yes.
But it's happening on the right too. The right is dividing. The left has been dividing itself. I think it has to do with a lot of nihilism, a lot of meaninglessness.
Yes.
I think it has to do with the economy. Everyone is suffering. I mean, most people. The middle class has been effectively destroyed for the past 2 decades, but the last 5 years, the middle class took a real bad hit, especially during lockdowns when a lot of the mom and pop shops were completely shuttered and they couldn't come back, and a lot of the bigger corporations just invaded every town, like Walmarts and Home Depots, which is a bummer. As someone who worked at a hardware store for 4 years, I love the little mom and pop stuff like that. So people are having a hard time surviving. And now everyone sees each other as a political enemy, and everyone's got boogeymen, rightfully so. And like today, I was out at this one store, and someone ran into me who knew what I do, and they had some questions about human cloning. So I'm in the supermarket being like, yes, I do think Avril was cloned. Yep. And, I do think Obama was cloned. I'm not, there's other people. And then the conversation shifted to what I'm really kind of worried about right now, outside of all that stuff and politics and everything, like the assassination of Charlie Kirk. All this stuff is the data centers that are destroying the landscape and all the farmland that's disappearing. And this place I was at, is typically, it's got a lot of like way left-leaning people. It's like one of these cafes, you know, that's just ran by
And
leftists.
you have to have a MacBook to enter.
Yeah.
They like scan you to make sure you go through a metal detector. And if there's no MacBook, they turn you around.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm having this conversation. I'm very open about Christ to this person who, you know, is doing there and all this stuff that I think is important. Then it went to the data centers, and the person behind the counter was like definitely a leftist, was very intrigued by the data centers thing. Because we could agree on that. I'm like, wow, we could find some way to come together on this issue, which I think is very important because it's going to destroy all farmland. At some point, it's happening.
What is?
Data centers.
Data centers, yeah.
They're taking over. So I'm like, I'm
But
trying
we
to
could just
find
eat
those.
the bugs, though.
That's right. Well, that's
Totally
fine.
fine,
That is
yeah.
fine. We could each eat the bugs. But I'm like, I don't think me and this person will agree on most things. Religion, how to raise children, if they even want children, because they're probably insane into abortion. But I'm like, I am always still looking for ways that we can come together to some degree. And, you know, like I was talking about a week or two ago, and we don't have to be climate alarmists, but the data centers and what I was saying earlier about DuPont and all these other corporations that have mutilated this country and poisoned everyone, that's something we could actually like band together on. And
Until
we
Trump
can't.
agrees with us, and then they will never agree with you. As soon as Trump goes, the data centers are eating the farmland, they're going to say, wow, this is fascist rhetoric.
Yep. And right,
This is what Hitler said. Hitler was concerned about data centers eating up farmland, actually. Famously so.
seriously, dude. Seriously. So, yeah, I mean, I'm noticing, and just finish that little story about me in this cafe. Right, I was having this good feeling about, wow, we can find something to agree on, data centers and stuff. Literally, 2 minutes later, someone else walked into the store that knew what I did. This doesn't happen all the time, but it's very strange, and I don't like it. It's
They're
weird.
following you,
Yeah.
Shane.
Someone else totally and said, "F Tim Pool,
No.
hate that guy," and like stormed out of the place. I'm like, okay, it balanced out. It balanced out, you know. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, now I feel good. It's all balancing out. But dude, the rage is horrible, and I think that has something to do with the car crash like epidemic we're seeing. I don't know if you've seen this, but like I have been seeing more car crashes than ever. Just on Friday, I was stuck behind 2 awful car crashes on the same day. Surge was behind a car crash on one of the highways out here.
Well, that's because with the government shutdown, we lost ground traffic control.
Bro.
So people are not able to tell you.
Literally,
Yeah.
it's insane. So yeah, dude, you're not alone. I mean, everyone's feeling that. Like Seamus, I'm sure you're seeing it in your
The
travels.
car crashes?
Not just that, but just
I
like the
haven't noticed, to
division,
be
the
honest.
rage.
Oh, for sure, I've seen the division. and the
Leprechauns don't
rage.
drive,
I
we
mean,
know that
No, yeah,
much.
exactly. I just hop on my little trail of rainbow light and
Yes.
zoom off to wherever I'm going. Hi, I'm going to go get me gold for Twisted Plots so I can make it. TwistedPlots.com. So the issue is, I agree with you. There's something you mentioned earlier. As soon as I was able to hear you first, and I'm trying to remember the exact thing you said, but I wanted to respond to it. The thoughts escaped me at this point.
Division.
It wasn't about division.
Data centers.
Because
data
I
That
like
was me.
because I love division. So it wasn't about that. It was something.
Oh, the same changes around the world.
Oh, a lot of
the-
changes. So you mentioned we're seeing a lot of changes. I was talking to my buddy Matt Frad the other day, and he's
Just name dropping.
a Catholic podcaster,
Seamus is
really
just name-
cool guy. Just name dropping here. Tim Pool, was talking to Matt Frad the other day, and one thing he's like, you know, it feels like every 6 months we're in a different world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I said, that's because the scenery changes really fast when you're rolling downhill. Like, yeah, everything's changing. That's not good. It's not because there's just a bunch of progress, unfortunately. Maybe I think there's some progress in some areas. I'm not a total pessimist. But I think the reason a lot of things are changing quickly is because it's all just falling apart. I think we're in that. I think that's what time it is.
Yeah, I am worried about beyond the data centers, attach those to the people building them. And then just today I was reading in the Wall Street Journal this story with Sam Altman and one of his new businesses. I think it's called Preventive, which is a embryo editing company.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yes, agreed. And he
edit
literally
undo. Gonna change that one.
he's literally quoted as saying this will accelerate evolution.
And now what happens when AI starts editing embryos?
That's what's
and then
gonna happen.
creates biomechanisms in its image and likeness.
Yep. So I think that's part of these like massive changes as well. There's lots of
By
changes.
the way, I just want to say, if I said any of this 4 years ago, people would go schizo.
Yep.
But now that's all completely within the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
They still are, but we take them less seriously because AI does exist and embryo editing does exist, and it's not like those two technologies are never going to coalesce.
Yeah, they're building like the new future that is dystopian, and they want you to think it's normal, but it's completely antithetical to humanity. And so it's that stuff happening at a rapid clip now that is changing the future, changing our very day-to-day life, with the data centers, all these farmlands being sold off. But on top of that, all the crazy leftist ideology we've kind of been sifting through for, decades, but it's accelerated. That's accelerated in the past 10 or 15 years. So it's like it's a completely different world than what we grew up in. And I think every generation can probably say that. However, the problem now is we are actually inheriting a world where but like the colloquial, we have deconstructed the essence, like what it means to be a human.
Yep.
What like reality is. We live in separate realities. We're interdimensional now. So it's like way more existential crisis. And I think that's what's making this all seem so much worse.
The most important thing to keep in mind is that most of the AI that you think is AI, it's a bunch of Indians in a data center typing to you. It's all it is. And so when they say they're gonna have to get rid of farmland, they're actually just shoving a bunch of H-1Bs into like a box and telling you it's a server, and they have a little keyboard, and that's what's actually happening. So the AI threat is not going to be impossible to defeat.
It'll be easy if you put it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It is freaky. I think. Listen, I know everyone here is very black-pilled on AI, and I also am black-pilled by the technology insofar as who we know it's going to be used by. Mm-hmm. I feel the way about AI that I do about guns. I think it unleashes an incredible technological destructive power, the likes of which the world hadn't seen prior. And we want to make sure it's in the right hands. Well, that's the thing. Guns are awesome when they're in the right hands. They're not awesome when they're pointed at you.
Guns for everyone. If everyone had guns, it'd be all right.
And that's the thing. That's exactly right, because you can defend yourself.
Right.
How do we ensure that everyone has equal AI power for defense, right? Yeah. It's just, I don't know that you can.
And I'm sorry if I've taken what you said and I'm just projecting my own fears about the world changing with the AI stuff, but I do think it's important to talk about. I do think it's changing. The people building it are literally telling us they're summoning the demon. This is going to change the social contract of society. And, the guns, I get the reference, but even like they themselves, someone like Alex Karp from Palantir, they call themselves Manhattan Project 2.0. So they see this as an atom bomb,
Yes.
But it's a different kind, because this one is going to destroy us from inside out and then the outside in. So I don't know I hope that answered your question to some degree.
Oh, absolutely. If I may, though, I don't think all is lost. To end on a positive note, one of the things I noticed, and that's the reason I brought this subject up, is one of my battle buddies that I deployed with overseas, one of my bestest friends in the whole world. I hadn't talked to him in about 7 years because we had a fall-in, and I reached out because I missed him and I wanted to make sure he was all right. And we talked, and it was still the same guy that, I deployed with, my best friend. Yep. And during our talk, I noticed certain ideologies and politics were coming out, and it took me by surprise because I did not expect that from him, and it was the complete opposite, and I did not agree with a lot of the stuff he was saying, but it made me realize in that moment, and unfortunately it took that moment to make me realize that even though he believes something that I don't agree with, that's still my best friend in there. That's still the same good man that I deployed with, saw a lot of good actions come from him. I think some people have just fallen into some of these traps, including myself. I've been upset with family members because, of politics and stuff like that. And it's making me realize that these are just traps that are being set up for us to divide us. But I feel like there's hope because of things like what you guys do, just talking about things. Communicating is an extremely powerful tool that, as simple as communicating is, I think it can topple all of the garbage that these globalists are pushing. And I think that's why people like Charlie Kirk were such a big threat. Just communicating alone was touching people.
Yes.
So I don't think all is lost. I think there's hope. People like yourselves, that work so hard and talk about things and are open-minded and are open to discussion. I think that's the key to getting out of this mess.
Totally agree, man.
Yeah.
I think we've got to remember that. There's a lot of people who wrote me off the last 5 years, family and friends.
Especially me, dude, because I was like sick of you talking about how awesome polyamory is. Just not going to like your polycule meeting, and there was, oh my gosh, it was so bizarre, man.
Thank you for the conversion therapy.
And then exactly. Then I had then Father Ripperger came. We did an exorcism on Shane. And
we filmed it. We'll do that behind a paywall, of course.
By the way, it was actually it was awesome that Father Ripperger came the other day. He's an awesome man, great priest.
Yeah.
But anyway, So yes, sorry, Shane. You were talking about being written off, and then I made fun of you. So
As you should. As you should. That is only right. But I agree, man. We gotta talk. People gotta remember that. You know, it's just the people that I can't find that common ground with, that I don't have over at the house anymore. The ones who are openly okay with hurting children.
That's
you know?
right.
Like
Yes.
and they think it's childcare. You know, I think it's abuse. But that is kind of rare now in my friend circles, and I have friends and family who we disagree on politically. But I'm trying to find common ground with them, and it's tough. But we have to find it because the division is going to be bad.
And also, I appreciate you drawing a line too. You mentioned the people you won't reconcile with are the ones who think it's okay to hurt children.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I mean, we for years as conservatives have said I pride myself on being able to be friends with people who I disagree with, but like that does not include pedophiles or people who protect pedophiles.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I do think that as a people, I want to believe that we all know the difference between right and wrong. I just believe that some of us lie to ourselves or choose what's convenient at the moment. But I think deep inside, most of us know the difference between right and wrong.
I think so too.
I think the law is written on every man's heart. I do believe that you can start to obscure that writing, and then it becomes difficult for you to see the more you habituate yourself towards wrongdoing, because there are some evil people who really have rerouted their brains towards seeing good as evil and evil as good.
Yep. Totally agree.
True. With that being said, guys, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you so much for calling me out, Shane. First time I've ever done anything like this. Thank you, Alex, Seamus. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And,
God bless.
I just want to let you guys know you guys are some really hardworking guys, and I really respect that. And I'm rooting for you guys. And thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your service.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah.
My pleasure. Oh, and happy Veterans Day to all the combat veterans.
Veterans Day tomorrow. That's right.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
God
love
bless.
you guys. Take care. Be safe.
Thank you. And everyone is a hard worker except for Seamus.
Except for me, I'm super lazy.
Freeloader.
Absolute freeloader. This
Oh,
couch actually,
cartoonist.
it's where I sleep. This is why I'm a little bit of a couch surfer. That's why I come and do Shane's show, because he just lets me sleep on the couch.
You know, back in the old days, I'm going to say it, there were times when I was sleeping in the old IRL studio. And then I would leave.
Yeah.
And then Seamus would sleep in the old IRL studio.
That's true.
That's like years ago.
That's true, yeah.
Years ago. But it was like,
Because of how not a hard worker I am, you know?
We were hustling, dude.
That's true.
We were hustling. That's the pop culture, the old pop culture studio now,
And
actually.
that's right. Yeah, on the beanbag chairs, man. I slept on many a beanbag chair at that time in my life.
I was like, this is a great opportunity.
Yep.
I'm gonna hustle. I want to wake up in this workspace and just go to work.
Me too. And then eventually I earned the beanie.
That's right. Yeah, I never got that. I'm still
Tim.
sleeping on the beanie bag.
Well,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's one
you
day.
just didn't do it enough.
One day.
I got really excited and ended the Zoom, so I'm sorry.
You guys hear this? You guys hear this?
Can you believe that? She
Unbelievable.
Up on you guys. That was really rude of her, in my humble opinion.
So yeah, I guess I'll just sit here in silence now.
The Zoom will be back. Sorry, everybody. They're like, you booted me. Yeah. Alex did that. It will be back. It'll be back.
I'm no Brandon.
It's all right. It happens. Imagine if I was running that thing. People are saying Timcast was great tonight.
Thank you.
I didn't
so
see
much.
it, so I don't know. I don't know if I agree.
No, it was really good. You were there.
Are you sure?
You were there for a lot of it, and then Elad kicked you out.
Yeah, he was
Elad
ready.
said he was sick and tired.
He was ready.
He was sick of you.
Thank you, Stacy
blame
McGregor,
him.
saying that he said
He's
Timcast was great tonight. But yeah, I don't blame him either.
Yeah,
I had no business being there.
You had zero
I never
business
do.
being there.
Well, I also want to say Jeff says Timcast was gay, so I like that balance.
Well,
I do
listen,
like the balance.
Do have, there are alternate opinions.
Yep, Alad was there, so it
and after you left, it got very pro-gay marriage. Everyone just started talking about how much they loved gay marriage.
Wow.
Not surprised.
I couldn't believe it.
Okay, so I got it back up. Do
man.
we want to bring someone into the room?
Justin said you guys forget to pay the heating bill because we're all bundled up.
It's actually really hot in here. I turned
Yeah.
off
It is
the
really
heat.
warm.
This
in
is just
here.
what I wear now. It's all I
This
have.
is just what I wear.
That's all I
this is
have.
my aesthetic.
Yep. Amazing. This is his aesthetic.
My aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
Okay, so I brought
All right.
Liberty Gal into the room.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
But your mic is muted, so you have to unmute.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I am really honored for this. Shane, I've followed you on Twitter for a while, and Timcast and everybody.
Thank you.
But I am calling, and I'm going to go ahead and ask for permission first before I share this. This isn't something that's anything that's paranormal or abnormal. It's abnormal, but it's not paranormal. Locally, we have a veteran who has done a lot of work with 501c3 that he formed called Anxiety Hackers. He does a lot of work with the community, but he posted a meme of a political rival during this last school board election, photoshopped, making it look like she supported someone who we supported, and he's been arrested for it.
Whoa. Insane.
Not only was he arrested for it when his mom posted the bond, they refused to give him his phone back, his cell phone back.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
So wait, hold on. He made an AI meme or something, or what? What did he make?
Yeah, it was just a photoshopped meme that made it look like this person, Tina, supported a school board candidate who she very clearly did not support, and she's very rabid and vocal, and so we knew she didn't support her. Everyone knows she didn't support this Monica for school board. But it's a photoshopped just graphic that was shared on a Facebook page that was clearly labeled this is satire, and he was arrested for it.
What?
And they're charging him with impersonation. It's a felony.
That's insane. That's
It
crazy.
is
Insane.
so wild.
Evil.
So he's charged with a felony because he made a satirical meme suggesting someone supports someone they don't really support. How on earth can you charge someone with impersonation over that?
That's the question. That's what's so insane. And I wouldn't have believed it myself, but I've read the arrest warrant. I read the probable cause warrant. I just think that there's just boomers that don't understand meme and internet culture, and they just don't get it.
That's crazy.
So they're saying it's misinformation and slander.
It's
or whatever?
impersonation.
But how
they're saying
that's crazy that you could go to jail for that, or that's a felony charge.
It's wild. So his name is Colton Crottinger. I'm just trying to bring awareness, as much national attention and eyes over here. I'm in Hood County, Texas, and a small town of Granbury, where the Good Old Boy Network just rules supreme. And
What was the name?
there's Colton Crottinger with a K. Colton Crottinger. So I've shared a lot about it on Twix. There's a lot more traction on Twix. Even Alex, it's on the Alex Infowars, website now. Chad
cool.
Prather's picked it up. I've chatted through direct messages a little bit with Josie, the redheaded libertarian. We're just trying to get as much attention on this because this is a very blatant violation of his First and Fourth Amendment rights. On top of that, part of the bond conditions was that he is not allowed on social media at all. And that's how he makes his money. That's his livelihood. So they've set the court date for 2 years from now.
Wow.
What?
Yes, September 2027. It is insane, you guys. So I'm really sorry to hijack your show. I really am just so willing to put myself out there just because we need to bring this attention. So if you just search for Colton Crottinger on X, there's a lot of posts about it now. We are really trying to get the attention of Ken Paxton. We're trying to get the attention of who's our Attorney General here in Texas. Just really anyone who can make a lot of noise about this because it's wild. So there's a Twitter account. I think it's like Sarah is censored or something like that. She has shared the pictures of the arrest warrant and the probable cause affidavit. Okay. I've filed my request to get those, but they always take like the full 10 days, if not longer, to release that information. So I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah, attacking satire is just insane.
That's like actually insane. That's really evil.
In the 2 years, the process is the punishment.
That's right. That's
know?
absolutely right. That's sickening.
That is what I've been saying. The punishment is the process. Yep. They don't really care too much about the conviction. It's just to bleed him dry. It is, politics here is wild. And I know probably everywhere says that, but it really is wild here in Hood County. But I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I've been a listener and watcher on YouTube for a long time. I've just never called in, but I just needed to. So thank you so much for your guys' time.
I'm sorry
Thank
that
you.
happened. That's
Yeah.
actually insane.
Yeah, I'd like to try to amplify everyone out there. You can look it up. I'm looking at the article right now on Yahoo News. Exclusive Texas Good Old Boys Club versus First Amendment Crottinger arrested over meme.
Yeah,
it's a
I threw
crazy
it up
story.
On the screen here, you can see his face. His
Yeah,
picture.
you guys share this. I mean, this is an abomination. Like, no one should be arrested for doing this. It's insane. And this is not the only story like this. I know there's someone else, I'm forgetting the name, who's been arrested for doing something similar. And they would love nothing more than to strip us of this right, because we can subvert their ridiculousness and their evil with humor. And they don't want you to do that. So I appreciate you sharing that message. Thank you for the kind words. And well, hopefully everyone else out here listening and ourselves will help amplify this message.
Awesome. If I may ask permission, may I just share his Give Send Go for his lawyer fees?
Yeah.
Or if not, I totally understand. No big deal.
Oh yeah, go for it.
It's Give Send Go, Colton Crottinger. Oh my gosh, now I'm on the spot and I've already forgotten the actual name.
I can spell
but
it.
I think
If you want.
you should be able to search on Give Send Go for Colton Crottinger with 2 T's. We're trying to help him raise his funds for his lawyer. His lawyer said it's going to be $15,000 just to even get started, and if it does go to trial, it can be upwards to $30,000. And this guy's done a lot of work. He's done a lot of work with the 501c3 called Anxiety Hackers. He has taken his family's property here in town and turned it into like a first responders and military veterans kind of retreat for just some PTSD help. And he does a lot here, and it's terrible what's happening, the way that they're doing this.
I hate it. I appreciate you sharing the story. I think it's very important. So hopefully everyone out here, we can help amplify this, help get Colton some help. Hopefully some local politicians can get roped into this and see that this is a cause that they should be fighting for, because this is important. This is very, very important stuff. And if this keeps going on, we're all going to be arrested for posting I love satire. I defend the First Amendment. It's incredibly important, and there's been an attack on it for years. The left would love nothing more than to strip that from us, and people on the right as well. And it's ridiculous. So it must be stopped.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. Keep up the great work, and I'll let you get to your next caller.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's Colton Crottinger, K-O-L. I'm sure I'm getting this right. Kolton Krottinger. Insane. They're gonna arrest you for cartoons. I mean,
eventually, that's the plan. They would love to. Eventually.
They hate humor. They always have to go
and if
after.
it gets to the point, like, listen, man, if in 2028, if Republicans lose power, it's only a matter of time before they just go after all satirists. How dare you make fun of this person? And they won't call it hate speech. They will say it's impersonation or something insane like that.
When early on, maybe a decade ago, when the Me Too stuff, the leftist stuff is really ramping up, I was thinking how they're really attacking comedians first.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
Louis,
that's right.
Like Louis and stuff. Like, look, you don't have to agree with that lifestyle, but they were doing it on purpose because comedians are typically on the front lines of the reality that's happening and the shift and what's okay and what's taboo to make fun of, so that they can erase that part of the culture and make you afraid to make fun of things and to satirize things. Right. You're done.
And
Look
by
what
the
they
way,
did to Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, come on.
Yeah, poor guy. He's a martyr.
My favorite comedian.
Yeah.
My favorite blackface comedian.
It was Graham Linehan mentioned this when we were hanging out after Timcast. He was like, Charlie Kirk got murdered, and they made Jimmy Kimmel like the free speech martyr.
I know,
which is just so ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But to the last point that was made about comedians. Well, this is the other thing too. The only thing a comedian has to do for their jokes to be acceptable is be funny.
Right.
And so as soon as a comedian tells a funny joke about it, it's kind of allowed.
Yep.
And so they're terrified of that.
Because that subverts the seriousness of the fake reality. So you poke a hole in that, it deflates, and they can't let that happen.
Exactly right. No,
I remember being like, man, when they're going after Louis, even though I thought it was gross. You know, like
what he did was gross, but I think. Listen, I don't know the situation,
but they said they were okay with it.
I think they said it was non-consensual or something, or he didn't ask. And by the way, listen, I'm Catholic. Like, you shouldn't do that at all, even if somebody agrees to that. That's disgusting and that's horrible. And I understand the argument that people make too when they say, well, there's a power imbalance. 100%, 100%. But you got to say that in the article then. You got to say that he shouldn't have done this and it was unacceptable because there was a power imbalance. You can't say he just did this without talking to them or was doing this to unsuspecting strangers or whatever they were saying. But because I think the way they reported it did not line up.
No, and I think a lot of them were saying they're okay with it. But like, I honestly also don't care because I love his comedy. He's one of my favorite comedians. He is someone who's like, I don't have to agree with him on all these things, but he can call out certain things that you're supposed to take very seriously and make fun of it. You know, that's why I like a lot of them. And sometimes, you know, like I like Chappelle. Sometimes he says stuff that I just think is retarded.
It's just like really bad or incorrect.
But they are very good at being, you know, they can take something, deconstruct it in a good way, not in like a new agey way. Although sometimes they do. But they go after comedians, and I just, once they do that, you know, like they're coming for you next.
And listen, like anyone who's done something criminal, for sure, they should be in jail. But they'll go for things that either aren't criminal or things that they can't prove in a court of law or whatever. And the idea is, we want you to know that if like we create a phony accusation about you, we can destroy your life as well.
Yep. It's terrible. We should get to another caller before the end of the night. We've hit so many different notes and stories today. Oh, that's us.
We have someone in the room here with us, Stacy Gregory. But also, hold on 1 second. We do have a super chat from Drew Huntley. Check out the Crowder Boys podcast live Thursdays at 7 Eastern Standard Time. Nothing to do with Steven Crowder. It's a comedy show unlike Crowder.
Sick.
Okay.
Awesome.
What's up, Stacy?
Oh, hey. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. This is my second time calling and second time getting on. So
Awesome.
Lucky me.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
right.
Shane, I talked to you a couple weeks ago. I'm the one that called about the angel story with my mountain bike, my horse bike riding.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That was wild.
Yes. Anyway, I forgot to mention that I'm a really, really bad storyteller. And
I didn't think you were bad. I thought that was a good story.
No, my fiance was like, "Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. I'm so sorry."
You did great. You did great. It's fine.
Well, I have a spoon story.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
I don't know what that
And
has to do
I was
with me.
gonna save it for Ian when he's on, but Seamus is pretty awesome too. So,
Oh, thank you.
Every now and then, don't say too many nice things about him.
oh my gosh. So I want your opinion. So a couple of years ago, this is the first time John and myself noticed it in the house. But so one morning we go out there to, spoons and forks and stuff, and we're missing like 4 spoons. We're like, okay, that's weird.
That is
okay.
weird. Why would that happen?
Right? Why would that happen? We don't take them for lunch or whatever. Well, it's been happening. So on a regular basis, we'll have like 10 spoons, and then a week later we'll have 4 spoons and like 12 forks.
Wait, do you have kids?
No, I do, but he's not taking the silverware. So what is going on? Is this like a what? Like I don't know, like time shift or what is happening? And it's been going on for 2 years.
It's a false flag, and they're trying to pin it on me. I already know what this is. They're literally.
Gosh.
Do you remember when right before you called in, I said to Shane, they can falsely accuse you of things to destroy your life.
Yep.
They're creating a false flag.
Yep.
They want me to be accused of this.
That's right. Operation
Oh,
Forkwoods.
gosh.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
But what do you really think it is? Like, there's no rhyme or reason.
I wouldn't
unless
know.
there's like.
I would not know why someone
Have
would
you
do
ripped
something
open all the walls in your house?
Yeah. No.
Do you know about frogging?
And I'm.
It's my biggest fear.
What's frogging?
Do you know about frogging?
And I'm a Christian, and I love. I just don't understand.
That
like,
is weird.
How are there? What is going on?
I actually, funny enough, I gotta jump in a second. But
Yeah.
what is? And I want to give an answer. But what is frogging?
Frogging, I just want to get it right because I just looked it up, and I was right. Frogging is in a house refers to the act of someone secretly living in a property without the owner's permission.
Oh
And this has
gosh,
happened.
that's so scary.
Isn't that
I've heard those
terrifying?
stories.
Yeah, it does happen. It happens.
I know that lady that was living in that guy's
Exactly.
cabinet for like a few
Cabinet?
months.
A cabinet?
Right?
leprechaun. It's
Yeah.
this one.
And like was living in his cabinet. Yes, in the kitchen cabinet
I
and
checked
was
this
messing
stuff
with
in
him
my house.
You did.
and was going out like in his kitchen and moving stuff around.
So that's where I always go with weird things in the house.
You think someone's frogging you? You're like,
I'm always
"Someone
thinking
lives
someone's
here."
frogging
Like
me.
they're in the walls.
Yeah,
That's,
mean-
so
Damn.
Tim is a psycho, and Tim Pool is like got it on record here. Tim's a crazy person, and what happened was spoons. He started misplacing spoons, and then he accused me of frogging him. Basically, he was like, "There's an
Okay, is that
Irishman
why
who
you're
lived-"
the spoon guy? That's why
but
you're
I'm
the spoon
not.
guy.
It's why he falsely accused me. He's like, "There's an Irishman who lives under my house who steals my spoons." And crazy. He's a crazy guy. That's why I had to take. He was ruled medically incompetent to own the beanie. That's why I had to take it and take over Tim.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't have an answer. That's a good question.
great.
I gotta run.
Okay, so
But thank
Seamus
you
is going to
for your
run.
call.
Goodbye, Seamus.
I love
Thank
you
for
all.
Bye,
joining
Guys,
us.
go to twistedplots.com and thank you so much for your call.
Thanks, dude. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for hosting a great IRL tonight. That was fun.
Yeah,
It
great
was a
show.
blast. Thank you. See you, brother. Get home safe. So you're saying the spoons are not just disappearing, but they're also multiplying?
They're also, yeah, and so they're reappearing and disappearing and they're multiplying and subtracting. So I mentioned last time I called in, you know, my fiance is an atheist, so he doesn't believe in any of this stuff.
Wait, but he sees it, right?
But he started, yes, and he's like, what is going on? This is weird. You need to like ask, you know, a priest or something, or what is going on? Like, this is strange. And I'm like, okay, I'm not the crazy one.
good.
He's like,
Is it-
no, this is, and it's been going on for 2 years.
Alex asked if it's just that. Is there any other? Like, are there any?
It's
other things
just,
happening?
no, it's just the spoons and the forks. That's it. No, none of the,
It's just the
none of the
spoons and the
knives.
forks.
And it's only the small spoons.
Okay.
And
wow.
it's the big forks. So small, because you know, you have the big forks and the small forks.
Well, these-
It is only happening to the large forks and the small spoons.
But it's my children.
Right. It's Alex's children.
That's what you know, obviously I have a 15-year-old. No, I'm past that. He's not, no, he's like
Are
a
the-
little adult.
Are these utensils like an heirloom from?
No,
some sort
no,
of-
great question though. No, no. But I didn't know if there was like any sort of theory of, I don't know,
Wait, but
time, like the Matrix or something. I don't know. I don't
Right.
know much about that stuff.
We've had
but-
people call in who've had things go missing in their houses. They think it's ghosts or something moving. Remember the remote controller story, Alex? You were here for
Oh,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, the remote.
Things get misplaced, and they look all over. They can't find it. And then it's in like the most obvious place, and maybe they're
Yes.
just overseeing it. They can't. There's just we just didn't see
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Like me when
I'm
my
probably
wife says
more
there's something
inclined
find, I
to
can't
believe
see it.
that.
And it could
Probably
be that.
more inclined.
But I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that they're like there's more and then there's less.
Yeah.
That's odd. That's odd.
When it's only supposed to be a set of 8. It doesn't make sense.
But are you replacing them and then those go missing too?
No, nope. Haven't, nope.
Are you
Haven't
sleepwalking?
even touched
Do you have a
them.
history of sleepwalking or sleep purchasing forks and spoons? Are you checking your
flipping
Amazon
crazy.
accounts? Are you going
It's
to
just
IKEA?
bonkers. It's so
It's
weird.
weird.
I
Yeah,
just
I
thought
don't-
maybe you had some cool idea.
I mean, the time stories I've heard, don't mess with that stuff. We've had crazy time stories. Remember that when we
No.
had missing time stories, like 3 in
Yeah.
one day? And those people all have like, they just completely clocked out of reality and lost an hour to 2 hours. I don't think things were really missing or different in terms of like objects. But I mean, there is that. You know, if people want to look into like quantum
Go to a
mechanics
hypnotist.
no, don't go to a hypnotist.
I won't
don't go.
won't do that.
They're gonna ruin your brain with witchcraft. But
Yep.
seriously, don't do that.
No, I won't.
I don't know. I mean, you could go to a priest, have him come through.
Yeah, so
It's weird that they're only messing with the spoons. Have you checked the history of your
Yeah.
house? Is there?
that's what I thought. And my mom came over and she gave me a whole bunch of holy water.
Okay.
But
start.
I know I probably, yeah, I need to go talk to a priest and see what his thoughts are.
Yeah. I mean, did you look into the history of the house? Is there anything odd?
No, we built it.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know anything about the land.
Yeah. What about the land?
So exactly,
What'd you
we have
build
5
on?
acres out here
Who
in
did
Oregon.
you build on?
So
Who did you build on?
I don't. Yeah, I would be more inclined to think something like that. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yep,
Well,
for sure.
Please call back and keep us updated on the
Oh,
spoons.
I will. I love you guys.
Thank
You're
you.
awesome.
We
Thanks so
appreciate-
much for taking my call, and
course.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
Awesome.
Have
Thank
a
you
good
for the
night.
kind words.
good
Thanks for
night.
calling in. We'll talk again.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
night. Man, that's wild. What a crazy show. This one flew by.
Yeah,
Flew by.
it sure did.
Crazy. We hit so many topics. I love it. Well, let's just ride this out. I want to give time and not rush the next caller. So guys, call back on.
There is someone who was in the waiting room.
Okay.
Culpercast. I mean.
Let's.
You want to take it
let's
real
put
quick?
on Culpercast.
Okay.
Yeah, Culpercast
we'll take
is
it real
great.
fast because he's like crying.
He's probably had.
crying.
I think he's had issues with. I think there's something we talked about last week. You
Blood
want to talk
magic.
about? Yes.
Something
Yes.
about
Yes.
blood
Oh, you pulled me up.
I
We had
pulled you
to.
in. I pulled you in.
Sorry. I was gonna say no, and I was gonna get into another story, but then she said it was Culpercast, and I
No,
saw
I mean,
whining about blood in the comments.
dude, I've been whining for a week.
So, all right, tell me, what's the deal?
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me mute everything. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was hoping to. I was gonna call in tomorrow and complain about it, but
Let's do it right now.
yeah. So the guy last week was like comparing the Eucharist to blood magic.
Was he
Do you
comparing
remember?
it? Yeah, I remember. Was he comparing it directly, or was he saying like there's these other things?
He
and
was
then there's
pretty much
this?
comparing it directly. He
Yeah.
reiterated it multiple times.
Okay, I didn't take it as that, but I know he was basically making the connection. I didn't know if it was directly or if he was saying like there's this, and I thought he took that seriously in terms of the blood, the sacrifice of Christ, and then also saying there were these other things in pagan world and other religions that were doing it. But you were taking it as like he was taking all.
Oh,
those as
he
equally
like
serious.
reiterated it like several times. Like
Okay.
it was like multiple times in that conversation. He kept calling it blood magic. And
Okay.
kept comparing like the Eucharist to blood magic.
And he was calling the Eucharist blood magic. I don't remember that.
Yeah, like
Okay.
what we do in the Eucharist as blood magic.
Right. Okay. So tell us then, what's your take?
It's not blood magic.
Fair.
First off.
You're Catholic or Orthodox? I forget.
I'm Orthodox.
So you believe in transubstantiation?
No, so that's a Catholic.
Okay, sorry.
That's the way they explain it. So that's
Okay.
I was actually hoping Seamus would still be here
That
to get into it.
freaking
Yeah,
leprechaun. This
he
is
left
perfect for
right
him.
before.
He knew.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he does.
So-
Yeah, he's the Catholic. He's the resident. Well, one of the resident
They would
Catholics.
call it I forget how you pronounce it.
Transubstantiation.
Yeah, it's hard to pronounce.
I know. I'm surprised I even got it out. To be honest with
So
you.
we don't refer to it that way.
Okay.
We actually, surprisingly enough, we just call it a mystery
Okay.
in the Orthodox Church. Like we actually do not think that the Eucharist can be defined or explained in any type of human way.
Right.
It's a divine mystery.
Okay.
However, the Eucharist itself, we consider it an unbloody sacrifice in the Orthodox Church. So we don't believe that when we partake in the Eucharist that it's a re-crucifixion of Christ. We don't think that it's like we're re-crucifying him as like a blood magic ritual. It's just we're partaking in the original sacrifice.
Right. As in, is it fair to say just like a symbolism?
No.
That's not-
No.
'Cause-
We believe it's the actual blood and body of Christ, but we still consider it unbloody because it's not.
Okay.
This is where it gets into the divine mystery aspect. It's a mystical transformation of the bread and wine into blood and body. However, we don't consider it blood magic. We don't believe it is the re-crucifixion of Christ, as if we're putting him right back on the cross and like drawing his blood in a blood sacrifice, but we are partaking in the original one sacrifice,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Right. Because the transubstantiation does believe it is the actual blood.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and we believe it's the actual blood and body of Christ too, but it's a mystical aspect of. This is where it gets weird. Like they try to explain it as in the transformation, like literal transformation in the moment.
Right.
This is now blood. We believe it's a mystical partaking of the blood and bread or the blood and body in the moment.
Right. Whereas I see it as more of a symbolic act. I don't believe that it is.
Yeah. We've had that disagreement in the past. Yeah.
I love this conversation. I wish Seamus was here for his
Me
angle,
too.
That's
Yeah, I was really
ridiculous.
hoping he would
He
be
just
here.
hopped out like that, like a leprechaun does. But yeah, no, I don't think it's blood magic though. I mean, you can't say it's blood magic, and I don't agree with comparing it to other religions.
And a lot of people have called it blood magic, and the caller last week, like he kept going in of the blood magic topic and comparing it to the Eucharist and Christianity. I was losing my mind.
I'll be honest. All I remember really is Ian saying it's okay for people to drink blood. And
Yeah.
after that-
Ian even like he went into it too, and I was like, Ian, stop.
But he
please."
wasn't talking about Christ. Ian was
No, he
talking
wasn't.
about blood, like people drinking blood. If you have it, you could drink it because it could be good for you.
Yeah. He was kind of playing into it. You know how Ian does.
I mean, yeah, I know how
We're
he.
gonna do after we leave this place tonight.
No, it's not, Alex. No, it's not. But yeah, no, I remember I saw you. I'm glad you called in and clarifying. I would love to have a deeper conversation about this stuff. I saw someone, I forgot. I'm sorry, I missed.
I've been wanting to for a while, but we haven't had the opportunity.
Someone mentioned Jay Dyer in the chat. We've had Jay on the show.
Yes.
Jay's
great.
It's Silly Goose, actually. Jay Dyer slowly converting me to become an ortho bro. Jay's great. He's super smart. I'd love to have him back on at some point. And
yeah, I've talked to him a couple times. He's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's
funny.
like, I listen to him all the time now. I became Orthodox before I even found Jay Dyer. But
cool.
Yeah, he's been great for me.
Yeah, he's fun.
And he could explain this stuff a lot better than I can.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's like above my pay grade. He
dude,
talks like, man, I'm retarded.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about when compared to him.
No, but I love these conversations. I love them, and I think it's so interesting and important for everyone in their theology to sharpen your theology.
Yeah,
hear people's perspectives, and it's good stuff.
I just had to make sure that I addressed no, the Eucharist is not blood magic.
Right.
I don't know any Christian between Protestants, Catholics, or even Orthodox that would ever consider the Eucharist blood magic. Now, I know the Protestants look at it symbolically, like you do, and we don't view the Eucharist as symbolic.
Right.
Like, we think it's the actual blood and body of Christ.
Right.
And like I said, Catholics, they have their definition of it, and what we call it in the Orthodox is divine mystery. It's like a mystical, supernatural partaking in the sacrifice on the cross.
Yeah. And I love communion. I love partaking in it. And I
it's
do
beautiful.
see it as symbolic gesture. I see it in the way that I also viewed my baptism, which was like I already had an inward change that I don't need anything else to express it. But and we might disagree on this part too.
We would. Yeah,
but I did it because it was, in my opinion, a symbolic gesture to show my children, and my family, this is what's happened on the inside. And I don't know, it's like saying Protestant is also like tough. Like, I'm not sure. It's like labeling things for me is kind of tough because a Protestant is kind of.
Well, I believe you're all over the place. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm not saying that in a bad way.
I go to a non-denominational church, and people have issues with that, I'm sure too. But I'm just reading the Bible, and
I'm not judging you. Dude.
No,
I mean,
I know you're not.
We
I know.
agree and
I know,
disagree on
and
things.
I that's why I love these conversations, and I've tried going to different churches, but Protestant does get a bad rap, and rightfully so, because most of them have been captured, and that's why
when we see rainbow flags, flying out of Methodist churches or something. And
Yep, it's ridiculous. Like the Episcopalians, I know there's some I think out there that are still okay, and the Lutherans and all that stuff.
There's a lot of Protestants that are okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but I'd like to at one point have a bigger discussion with a Protestant, an Orthodox, and a Catholic, and
I would love to see you bring Jay Dyer on for a good 30-minute conversation.
Yeah, I mean, the episode we brought him on, I don't think we got into religion. Maybe briefly, but I forget what we talked about.
No, y'all were talking about conspiracies.
Yeah, we got into weird stuff, which was awesome.
Because he does a lot of that. But I would love to see y'all talk about orthodoxy.
Yeah, I know, and he's been on Culture War debating it as well.
Yep.
So for sure, man, at some point we'll make it happen. For those things, I'd love to have it in the room, and people have to see each other's face in person to do these things. It's just better for, I think, a debate. It's tough over Zoom and stuff. But yeah, man, I appreciate you calling in. And,
thanks for hearing my cries in chat and bringing me on.
Of course, brother. We appreciate it, man. And we'll talk soon.
Yeah, have a great night.
You too. All righty. That was a fun one. Alex, did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
That was a great, really fun show. I am high off all the fluorescence I've had to stare at today.
Yeah, it's kind of.
And people don't realize how bright it is in this room.
Yeah,
and we've done it in a way where it's
Not so
even a
bad
little lighter
anymore.
than it used to be.
Yeah.
I could go darker. But this room and IRL are bright. IRL is an X-ray.
Yeah, no.
IRL is an MRI machine.
The lighting is not good on that show.
It's crazy. But guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Always a pleasure to get your phone calls, to see you in the see you guys in the chat. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. You guys have been killing it, really helping us grow this show, and we are very, very appreciative. Alex, let them know where you exist on the internet.
I am Alex Ayala on X sometimes, because I'm not always there. I'm just stalking is what I do. But it was great to be here tonight. I'm not sure when I'll be back again, but have fun for the rest of the week.
Guys, thank you so much. We will be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Who knows what will be on the docket tomorrow? It's always something wild. Please check your indoor-outdoor cats for any listening devices. You never know what the CIA is planting in their ears. And like, are your neighbors even bringing groceries into their houses, or is that a spook house?
Well, yeah, check your cabinets too, apparently.
Check your cabinets, everything. Please. You never know who is spying. Be safe out there. See you tomorrow. Later.